Chapter 292. The sea of stars was boundless. Beneath the deep blue surface of the sea, where the starlight was the brightest, stood an enormous palace in the sea. The gigantic palace was over 100,000 zhang tall. It was heavily guarded. Inside the palace, there were 3 gigantic beasts with profound qi. Each of them had a terrifying cultivation base at the half-step void refinement realm. Outside the giant palace, there were at least hundreds of desolate beasts guarding it. Each of them had a strong aura. Among the 3 beasts, the leader was a silver star dragon that was more than 3,000 feet long. The other beasts were a turtle and a whale. Star Dragon's cultivation was the strongest among the 3, but at this moment, his eyes flickered and he hesitated. I'm sure all of you already know about the incident on the Star Island. This time, Old Bear was actually frightened by an early divine transformation realm cultivator and had to defend the northern island. Yuan Fong, what do you think of this matter? The giant ape called out by Star Dragon was named Yuan Fong. Upon hearing Nie Tian's words, a thoughtful look appeared in his eyes. This beast's cultivation base was the lowest among the 3 beasts, but it was still a half-step void refinement realm wild beast after all. Its body was also 2,500 meters tall. He hadn't even replied when the starlight whale spoke before him, and it sneered without end. Bear Demon Barbarian Mountain. Didn't this old bear always think highly of himself, monopolizing the Star Island and killing trespassers? Why did they have to leave the South Island because of a little demon at the early stage of soul formation? Bah! To be frightened by an early-stage divine transformation cultivator, this old bear was really a coward in its mother's womb. Big brother, I have a suggestion, but I don't know if I should mention it. Speak. Star Dragon said sternly. This old bear is guarding the star-tempering purple zoysia, a precious treasure. Not only is it a treasure for the gods, Yao, and devils to comprehend star power, but it's also a treasure for us star spirits to transcend illusory forms and become real. In my humble opinion, the reason why the old bear is afraid of an early divine transformation realm cultivator is most likely because that old bear has suffered a serious injury somewhere and his cultivation level has fallen. That's why he would concede to an early divine transformation realm ant. If the old bear is really injured, it will be the best opportunity for us brothers. We can use this opportunity to eliminate that old bear in one fell swoop and seize his precious medicine. Yes, this might be an opportunity. If we're able to obtain the star-tempering violet zoysia, then we 4 brothers will have the opportunity to break free from our star soul bodies and transform into true demon bodies. But it's a little strange. Why is 4th brother still in the future? I heard that a few days ago, an early deity transformation stage demonic cultivator charged into the seat that 4th brother is in. Even with the sharpness of 4th brother's Kunpeng true blood, that early stage divine transformation realm expert actually managed to escape. 4th brother is still chasing after that person to this day. What? There was such a thing. 4th brother has awakened the true blood of the Kunpeng. In terms of speed alone, a single flap of his wings can cover a distance of 90,000 kilometers. He is not much weaker than a void refinement realm cultivator. However, that early divine transformation realm cultivator managed to escape from him. The Star Dragon was a little surprised. After pondering for a moment, he turned to the giant ape and asked. 2nd brother thinks that we should attack Star Island while Old Bear is injured. Yuan Fong, what do you think? However, the giant ape's eyes flashed with wisdom. After pondering for a while, he asked. If we attack the Star Island and anger the early-stage soul formation cultivator who occupies the South Island, what should we do? Angering an early-stage soul formation cultivator? The whale demon was surprised. The enemies attacking the Star Island would at most be the half-step void refinement realm bear demon and the others. What does it have to do with an early divine transformation realm cultivator? An early-stage soul formation cultivator was only enough to scare the cowardly old bear. The whale demon didn't even place him in his eyes. That early-stage soul formation cultivator might be extraordinary. That man Sean might not be really injured. Under normal circumstances, an early-stage soul formation cultivator would not be able to make man Sean feel fear. Unless man Sean is severely injured. However, what if that early divine transformation realm cultivator possesses heaven-defying strength? What if man Sean is not injured at all? Man Sean had once fought against Big Brother. The battle lasted for 10 days and there was no clear winner. After all these years, his strength must have improved a lot with the help of the star-tempering purple Zoisha. If he is not injured, he alone is enough to fight against Big Brother. As for his two fierce wives, they are not weak either. The combined strength of the two peak divine transformation realm female bears can rival a half-step void refinement realm cultivator. In addition to that early divine transformation realm cultivator whose background is unknown. There are at least 3 half-step void refinement realm cultivators on the Star Island. After hearing the giant ape's words, the whale demon could not help but sneer. An early-stage soul formation realm cultivator can rival a half-step void refinement realm cultivator? Third brother, I know that you have always been a cautious person. However, this time, I firmly believe that you are worrying too much. No matter how strong an early-stage soul formation realm cultivator is, it is impossible for him to rival a half-step void refinement realm cultivator. What if that early divine transformation realm cultivator is the same person that fourth brother could not catch up with? The giant ape's tone changed. What he said made the star dragon and the whale demon ponder at the same time. If this person can make fourth brother, who is known as the fastest cultivator in the Sea of Stars, unable to catch up with him, I'm afraid this person's technique is quite brilliant. However, is it possible that the early divine transformation realm cultivator who escaped from fourth brother and the one who scared the old bear away are the same person? The star dragon began to hesitate about attacking the Star Island. It shouldn't be such a coincidence. Recently, there seem to be many outsiders who have entered the Star Palace. Perhaps, the two of them are not the same person. The whale demon did not realize that he had already restrained his arrogance and his tone became a little uncertain. In the Sea of Stars, there were countless powerful wild beasts. These 4 beasts were undoubtedly the best among them. Among the 4 beasts, the fourth brother, the Kuan devil, was the fastest one. After awakening the true blood of the Kuan Peng, the great rock could travel 90,000 li with a single leap. Its speed was definitely not an undeserved reputation. The biggest advantage of being one step faster than others was that it could be invincible. Its attack was so fast that it could catch people off guard and make it hard to defend against it. If it could not defeat its opponent, it could escape immediately and protect itself. In a vast and boundless place like the Sea of Stars, no matter who it offended, as long as its speed was unparalleled, no one would be able to do anything to it. If the 2 early divine transformation realm cultivators were the same person, then the person on the Star Island would be the one whose speed was faster than the Kuan devil. Faster than 90,000 li with a single leap. Could it be the speed of a void refinement realm cultivator? Hiss. When they thought of this possibility, the star dragon and the whale demon hesitated. The star dragon and the whale demon were not willing to provoke someone whose speed was faster than the Kuan devil, even if it was an early divine transformation realm cultivator. If the two of them were the same person, then the plan to attack the Star Island would have to be carefully considered. The star dragon was completely shaken. However, there was still a trace of hope in the whale demon's eyes. When he thought of the miraculous star tempering purple Zoisha, his eyes immediately became fiery and filled with greed. Maybe. I'm just saying maybe. That expert whose speed is even faster than fourth brother has already left the fleeing star sect and went to the Heaven Palace. As for the expert who stayed on the Star Island, he might not be the same person as that expert. If that's the case, there's nothing to worry about, right? This is the portrait I ordered people to collect. It is the appearance of the person who scared off Man Shan. The gigantic ape no longer said anything. He opened his mouth and breathed out a gust of black chi. It turned into a black cloud that rose up and changed into many shapes. Eventually, it turned into Ning Fan's appearance. This is the early divine transformation realm cultivator of the Star Island. When fourth brother arrives and shows us the portrait of the early divine transformation realm cultivator, everything will be clear. If the two of them are the same person, the Star Island must not be attacked. This is my, Yuan Fang's, opinion. The Star Dragon was silent and the whale monster was also surprised. His third brother, Yuan Fang, had always been cautious and would always leave some leeway in his words. However, today, Yuan Fang was stubborn and firmly believed that it was unwise to attack Star Island. His stubbornness was not because he was afraid of Bear Demon Man Shan, but because he was afraid of that mysterious early divine transformation realm expert. Yuan Fang was afraid of Ning Fan, who he had never met before. He was not afraid of that early divine transformation realm expert's strength but his terrifying potential. An early divine transformation realm cultivator who easily escaped from Kun Mo's hands and scared off Bear Demon Man Shan, who was the #1 expert in the Star Ocean. This young man was only at the early divine transformation realm, but his speed was comparable to that of a void refinement realm expert and he could easily escape from a half-step void refinement realm old monster. Once this young man breaks through to the mid or late divine transformation realm, he would probably be able to turn the entire Star Ocean upside down with his own strength. Such a person must not be offended. What Yuan Fang was more concerned about was this young man's identity. What kind of force could nurture such an outstanding talent? There were 3 star gates in the Star Ocean. According to Yuan Fang's investigation, none of the experts who passed through the 3 star gates this time were at the half-step void refinement realm. However, there were a few of them who gave Yuan Fang a sense of danger. Besides, their backgrounds were not weak. He was afraid that they were supreme forces from the outside world. Yuan Fang was not sure if Ning Fan, who occupied the southern island of the Star Island, was a disciple of some great force. Everything will be clear when fourth brother returns. The Star Dragon said solemnly. Time flew like flowing water. 3 days had passed. Outside the Dragon Palace, a ray of traveling light that shook the winds and lightning stirred up huge waves on the sea. Inside the gigantic palace, a black shadow appeared and turned into a bald burly man in black armor. His face was filled with anger. The reason why he was in human form was because this wild beast had used the human appearance technique. I'm late. Please forgive me, my 3 brothers. It's all because that early divine transformation realm ant is too cunning. He vanished without a trace. I've searched half of the sea region of the Star Ocean but I still couldn't find any trace of him. This man is audacious enough to kill a wild beast of my Star Ocean. If I know where he is, I will certainly skin him alive. Fourth brother, calm down. Why don't you show us the appearance of that early divine transformation realm expert? Yuan Fang said with a frown. Appearance? It's just a small matter. However, why are you looking at the appearance of that ant? Kun Mo was puzzled. He did not understand why everyone wanted to see the appearance of the ant who angered him. However, he did not say anything else. He breathed out a mouthful of black qi which turned into a black cloud and transformed into the face of a young man. Kun Mo didn't understand. He didn't understand why everyone wanted to see the appearance of the ant that had angered him, but he didn't say anything else. He spat out a mouthful of black gas, which turned into a black cloud that turned into the face of a young man. The young man had a grave and stern appearance. His clothes were as white as snow, his hair was as black as ink, and his eyes were as dark as the night. His mannerisms were arrogant, and his aura was tyrannical. However, he was like a porcupine with thorns, giving off an oppressive feeling that he should not be provoked. It's him. It's really him. The Star Dragon and the whale monster's expressions changed. They glanced at each other and saw the seriousness in each other's eyes. Is there a problem with this person? Kun Mo frowned. He was no fool. He had just arrived, but his 3 brothers had ordered him to display this person's appearance. Could it be that this person had done something big in the Sea of Stars and caused some trouble? This person is the one who scared off Man Shan. Yuan Fang's words caused Kuan Mo to be startled. However, this shock quickly turned into an arrogant killing intent. So this person is on the Star Island. Doesn't that old bear have a grudge against Big Brother? Let's take this opportunity to wash Star Island in blood and kill Old Bear. As for that arrogant divine transformation stage ant, let me deal with him. No. That person's speed is comparable to a void refinement realm expert. If we offend him. The Star Dragon hesitated. However, his hesitation turned into greed and passion after he heard what Kuan Mo said. Big Brother, you're wrong. The reason why this person is faster than me isn't because his abilities are shocking, but because he possesses a golden chariot. The speed of this treasure is comparable to the void refinement realm. Its speed is comparable to that of a void refinement realm golden carriage. Not only the Star Dragon's eyes were burning with passion, but even the Whale Demon's eyes were burning with passion. Doesn't this mean that we'll be able to seize his carriage if we kill him? Although it wasn't easy, the benefits were not small. Yuan Fang, what do you think? Star Dragon glanced at him and asked. It doesn't matter if it's the golden chariot or its own speed, they are all part of its strength. I will still say the same thing. Star Island is not a good place to attack for the time being. If Big Brother really wants to kill this bear demon for revenge, we can wait for him to pass through the Star Door and then attack the Star Island. No. I must kill this person. Kuan Mo sternly refused, and the Whale Demon echoed. No matter how strong this young man is, what can he do? There are 4 of us brothers. Besides, even though this young man did not fight with the old bear, they are not good friends. It's impossible for them to work together. Even if they do, there aren't 4 half-step void refinement realm experts on the Star Island who can stop the 4 of us. But Yuan Fang still wanted to say something. This time, it was the eldest brother, the Star Dragon, who spoke. Second brother is right. This is an opportunity. Kill this young man and seize his chariot. Slay the old bear and seize his medicine. Then, we can break free from our star spirit bodies and drive this chariot to break the void and leave this world. This matter is decided. Let's attack the Star Island. Ning Fan sneezed as if someone was talking about him. Looking at the 2 ladies whose injuries were gradually recovering, he smiled faintly and kept the 3rd immemorial divine weapon. Then, he stood up and stood still. Just a moment later, his eyes suddenly turned solemn. He took a step out of the temporary cave with a cold gaze. A sword light flashed between his fingers. The ancient trees in the forest within 1,000 li were all reduced to ashes. 2 women in black robes were hiding among the ruins. Their faces were ugly and it seemed like they came with ill intentions. What is your purpose for coming here? If you don't tell me the truth, don't blame me for being merciless. The 2 ugly women were surprised. Then, they sneered. In the eyes of a mere early divine transformation realm cultivator like Ning Fan, the 2 of them were existences that he could easily destroy with a wave of his hand. The 2 of us have come here to repay the humiliation our husband has suffered. Die. Chapter 293. Ning Fan's confidence was arrogance in the eyes of the 2 ladies. Both of them had the backs of a tiger and waists of a bear. Their faces were like millstones and they had thick eyebrows and thick eyes which made them look fierce. Each of them took a step forward. The aura force of a peak divine transformation realm expert fell towards Ning Fan like a collapsing mountain, causing dust and smoke to rise. The aura force of 2 peak divine transformation realm experts strangely showed signs of merging into one. Their combined aura force was comparable to that of a half-step void refinement realm expert. Ning Fan's eyes twitched. These 2 ladies were not weak. However, there was no fear in their eyes. He also took a step forward and stomped on the ground. In an instant, the earth trembled and a dark red aura force collided with the aura force of the 2 ladies. Rumble, under the loud sound, the aura force of both sides was actually evenly matched. This greatly surprised the two ladies. They were the wives of Man Shan. Even though they were ugly, their strength was definitely not to be underestimated. Moreover, they were born from the same mother. Not only could they merge their aura force, but they could also merge their demonic techniques. Under their joint attack, they could even fight against a half-step void refinement realm expert. The two ladies used all their strength to fuse their aura force together. Originally, they planned to subdue Ning Fan in a single move. However, they did not expect that Ning Fan, who was just an early divine transformation realm expert, would actually have an aura force that was not weaker than a half-step void refinement realm expert. As time passed, the aura force of the two clashing aura force gradually revealed the winner. The aura force of the two ladies only fused after all. Then, it began to separate and crumble. As one side weakened and the other grew, Ning Fan's aura force became stronger and stronger. Humph. I don't believe it. He's just an early divine transformation realm expert. Can his aura force crush us two sisters? Use your secret technique. All right. The two ladies exchanged glances. Even though they were still speaking rudely, their eyes were already filled with seriousness. The two ladies bit their fingertips and squeezed out a few drops of silver demon blood, which turned into blood mist. All of a sudden, the splitting of their aura force was immediately alleviated. Moreover, their aura force began to rise. It seemed like the two ladies had used some kind of secret technique to suppress their aura force. Ning Fan's eyes turned grim. If they were men, he would not dare to underestimate them. Unfortunately, he had the yin-yang devil veins. It was not that he looked down on women. Instead, it was because he was born with a kind of restraint. The purple star in his left eye flashed and a pair of demonic wings appeared on his back. The moment the purple star rotated, a powerful pressure came from their bloodlines, causing the originally arrogant faces of the two women to change into expressions of disbelief. The might of the ancestral blood. This person's demonic blood is actually of the ancestral blood grade. The monster race valued bloodlines because when one's bloodline reached a certain level, it would produce a superior pressure that would cause one to instinctively want to submit. Just like the little girl Bright Sparrow in the past. Although her cultivation level was not high, no demon dared to provoke her. At this moment, Ning Fan's eyes were filled with an indelible coldness. That coldness was a condescending attitude, as if he was standing on top of a mountain, looking down at the two women like ants. Bang! A trace of purplish-black color was attached to the dark red chi force. The moment the purplish-black color appeared, a vast chi force rushed out from 3 zhang away from Ning Fan, shattering the two girls' pressuring aura field that was enhanced by their secret technique into pieces like glass. The two women took a few steps back in disbelief. Before they could stabilize their bodies, they were shaken by Ning Fan's chi force. Their ugly faces turned red and their chi force was in a mess. At this moment, something even more unbelievable happened. Ning Fan flapped his wings and appeared in front of them with a speed that was comparable to that of a half-step void refinement realm expert. Then, he pressed both of his fingers at the two women. What a fast speed! Even among the half-step void refinement realm experts, he is not considered weak. After the two women recovered from their shock, they stabilized their bodies one after another. Their eyes flashed with cold light. They could tell at a glance that Ning Fan's body refinement realm was just at the 2nd level of the Jade Life realm while the two women were at the 3rd level of the Jade Life realm. This person's speed is fast. Unfortunately, he chose to engage in close combat. Using his physical body at the 2nd level of the Jade Life realm to directly press his fingers at the two women was simply courting death. Indeed, if the two women were men, Ning Fan would not dare to engage in close combat since his body refinement realm was weaker than his opponents. Unfortunately, if they were women, Ning Fan would only need to use his yin plucking finger and the two women would be completely affected by his bewitching technique. In just a short while, they would lose all of their demon power and be at his mercy. Of course, the two women were unaware of all these. They only thought that Ning Fan was too arrogant and reckless. Therefore, without showing any mercy, the two women threw out their fists at Ning Fan's 2 fingers at the same time, trying to crush Ning Fan's fingers together with his arms. However, at this moment, a black shadow took a step forward and directly stood in front of Ning Fan and the 2 women. He shouted loudly. "Stupid women! Didn't I tell you not to come to the southern island and disturb this brother? Why aren't you going back to your homes? Wait for me to come back and teach you a lesson." This black shadow was actually a rough, dark-skinned man who had a simple and honest appearance and a face full of stubble. While he was cursing, his punches were not slow at all. He blocked both of the 2 women's punches with 1 punch and did not budge them at all. Instead, the 2 women were sent flying 1,000 zhang backwards. However, the strength of his punches was just right and they were not injured at all. On the other side, the dark-skinned man's fingers turned into claws. He tore a void barrier in front of Ning Fan's 2 fingers and blocked Ning Fan's 2 fingers. Ning Fan's eyes turned cold. This dark-skinned man was undoubtedly that giant bear. Although his appearance was different, his chi was the same. Wild beasts cultivated their beast bodies. However, when they were close to the void refinement realm, they could transform into human form. Demon cultivators cultivated their human bodies, but they could also transform into their demon forms. When the Great Tao reached its peak, it would lead to the same destination by different means. Ning Fan's 2 fingers touched the void barrier. If he moved a little further, his fingers would enter the void and be torn apart by the power of the void. Ning Fan's eyes were calm. At the crucial moment, he retracted his fingers and flapped his wings to retreat. However, he gave the dark-skinned man a meaningful look. If the dark-skinned man wanted to, he could directly attack Ning Fan. However, he did not do so because he did not want to offend Ning Fan. As for the fact that he repelled the 2 women with a single punch, he obviously saw how powerful Ning Fan's plucking finger was. Although he was scolding the women, it was actually a kind of rough protection. "Husband! Quickly kill this brat! Shut up!" The dark-skinned man shouted at the 2 women angrily. Then, he turned around and looked at Ning Fan meaningfully. Then, he cupped his fists and said, "Thank you for being merciful. If you use that refined corpse, I'm afraid that my 2 beautiful wives would lose their lives due to carelessness." The dark-skinned man Shan actually saw through Ning Fan's black dragon refined corpse. Indeed, Ning Fan had shown mercy. Otherwise, he could have used the refined corpse to stop one of the women and used it to attack the other woman. Both of them would probably not have a good ending. The black bear was afraid of Ning Fan and Ning Fan was also afraid of the black bear. There were still a few months before the star door would open again. Moreover, the star door was in the old bear's territory. If he killed his wives, he would certainly go against the black bear. If he wanted to enter the star door, he would have to risk his life. If he did not have to risk his life, there was no need for Ning Fan to kill anyone. As for the Tai Xian Ganoderma, it would not be too late to decide whether to snatch it after asking Shi Ran about it. You should take good care of your wives. If you let them out casually, you will feel sorry for them. Ning Fan said indifferently. Ha! Don't worry. Brother, you should rest well on the southern island. This kind of thing will not happen again. Seeing that you did not kill my wives, I will give you a reward. The black bear let out a hearty laugh and tossed a jade slip to Ning Fan. Then, he turned around and glared at the 2 women. Let's go home. The 2 women did not dare to disobey him. The 3 of them left in a flash. After the black bear left, Ning Fan held the jade slip in his hand. He was not in a hurry to open it. He first checked if there were any hidden restrictions. After making sure that everything was normal, he then sent his spirit sense into the jade slip to have a look. Ning Fan's eyes turned cold the moment he read it. What was recorded in the jade slip was not about him but a bounty order. The one who issued the bounty order was one of the 4 saint demons of the Star Sea, Kuan Saint Kuan Devil. However, the appearance of the person who issued the bounty was exactly the same as him. If the black bear did not tell him about this, he would probably not know that he had unknowingly offended an expert. Could it be that this Kuan Devil is that person? Ning Fan recalled that he had indeed offended a half-step void refinement realm beast during the 4 months he spent in the Star Sea and killed many wild beasts. On that day, that half-step void refinement realm beast led tens of wild beasts to chase after him along the coast. If it wasn't because of his powerful golden flame chariot, he would have been in grave danger. With this bounty order, Ning Fan could be more vigilant even though he was not afraid of the Kuan Saint or the Kuan Devil at all. The wild beast in the Star Sea attacked him and he killed it. It was hard to explain the grudge between them. However, Ning Fan was more convinced of one thing. In this world, if you don't provoke others, others will not provoke you. This black bear is quite interesting. After dispersing his thoughts, Ning Fan smiled faintly. This black bear might look simple and honest, but he was definitely not stupid. After thinking about it carefully, he realized that the reason why the black bear showed goodwill to him and told him that he was being hunted was because he had many considerations and did not kill his wife like he usually did. When I showed goodwill to him, he reported the news of me being hunted. It's really rare to encounter such a thing in the cultivation world. Speaking of which, the reason why I didn't kill his wife is not because I'm soft-hearted or have good intentions. It's just because I'm afraid of him. The reason why he showed goodwill to me might not be because he was grateful. Perhaps, he just wanted to show some goodwill to prevent me from causing more trouble in his territory. This kind of relationship is just like the relationship between me and my master. Because I was unwilling to die, I became my master's disciple. Isn't this also a kind of reciprocation? The principle behind this is not about kindness and kindness, but karma. Everything in the world has a cause and an effect. It's just like the 2 poles of a circle. Once the cause is touched, the effect will be born. And that circle is the cycle of karma. Ning Fan stood outside the cave residence. His black hair fluttered without any wind. At this moment, his eyes became unprecedentedly clear. In the human hall at the outermost area of the Star Palace, Ning Fan had cultivated the rain intent, mountain intent and Fuli intent to small completion after spending 3 months in the human hall. The full name of the divine intent was Void Spirit Intent. In the past, when Ning Fan lived in the rain world, most of the people living there were humans who cultivated the divine Tao. Therefore, the cultivators called it the divine intent. However, demons had their own demon intent while devils had their own devil intent. Comparing the divine intent was ultimately one-sided. In fact, the word intent referred to the intent realm. Intent realm was a kind of mysterious comprehension. It was a divine ability that was formed by combining the cultivator's understanding of the great Tao with their own experiences and personality. In other words, the intent realm contained the Tao that the cultivators cultivated. When the rain intent was condensed into a divine ability, it would be 1,000 drops of blood rain that could kill. When the mountain intent was condensed into a divine ability, it would be 1,000 zhang tall devil mountain that could suppress the enemy's cultivation base. When the Fuli intent was condensed into a divine ability, it would be the 1,000 feathers demon image that could greatly increase one's speed. It was also rain, but Ning Fan's rain was not nourishing. Instead, it was a bloody rain of slaughter. It was also a mountain, but Ning Fan's mountain was not filled with plants and trees. Instead, it was filled with overwhelming devil chi. This was the divine ability of the small completion realm. When the intent realm reaches the grand completion realm, the destructive power of the divine ability would also increase. As the cultivator comprehended the Tao intent in the intent realm, he would even have the chance to create a Tao intent technique with his intent realm and Tao intent. The destructive power of a Tao intent technique did not only depend on the realm of one's magic power but also the strength of the intent realm. As for creating a Tao intent technique, the prerequisite was to reach the grand completion realm. To break through to the void refinement realm, I also need to reach the grand completion realm. However, my intent realm is different from ordinary cultivators. Ordinary cultivators can only cultivate the cultivation methods of the divine race, demon race and devil race. As for me, because I cultivate the three races at the same time, I have condensed three types of intent realms. With the help of the Star Palace's demon intent, I forcefully condensed my intent realm and accelerated it to the small completion realm. However, it is extremely difficult for me to reach the grand completion realm. How can I reach the grand completion realm? His clear eyes revealed a hint of confusion. However, the more confusion he had, the deeper his understanding of his intent realm became. This enlightenment was triggered by the thought of the karma cycle. This enlightenment had triggered all the confusion that Ning Fan had been feeling for the past 7 months. He seemed to have seen a layer of membrane. As long as he could pierce through this membrane, his intent realm would reach the grand completion realm. Ning Fan was extremely perplexed and puzzled. However, at this moment, a golden-purple wind mist rose from the tip of his finger. Wind mist. Wind mist. I comprehended this technique from Immortal Sovereign Zido. In the past, I couldn't see through the true meaning of this technique. Now, I know the secret art of this technique. The reason why this technique is so powerful is that it is not a pure magic technique but a Tao intent technique. This wind mist finger contains the Tao of the Immortal Sovereign. Because I have comprehended that trace of Tao, the destructive power of this wind mist finger is extremely strong even though my cultivation realm is low and my intent realm is weak. However, this also means that I have yet to completely comprehend the wind mist finger. It's because the color of this wind mist finger is purple golden. It's the color of the Immortal Sovereign and it's his Tao. I have my own Tao. If this technique doesn't incorporate my Tao into it, it won't be considered as a true Tao intent technique. It's just a facade. Perhaps this technique can defy the heavens by relying on that trace of samsara power. However, if it's not my own Tao intent technique, even if I become an immortal emperor and comprehend this technique to its peak, what I will comprehend will still be the Tao of the Immortal Sovereign and not my own Tao. Immortal Sovereign Zido had repeatedly warned me that I am different from the others. At that time, I thought I understood what he said. Now, it seems like I still don't understand it. This difference isn't the difference between individuals but the difference between our Tao. It's precisely because everyone has their own Tao that there aren't two people who are exactly the same in this world, let alone 2 drops of rain that are exactly the same. Ning Fan's eyes became more and more vacant. Suddenly, he seemed to have understood something. I understand now. As long as I can do this, I will succeed. Once I succeed, this wind mist finger will completely condense my Tao and its destructive power will increase to another level. At this moment, Ning Fan's eyes suddenly turned cold. He wanted to completely perfect the self-created part of this wind mist finger. He wanted to separate the Immortal Sovereign's Tao and incorporate it into his own Tao. At the tip of his finger, a trace of void power slowly emerged. The Black Bear and his 2 wives had already gone very far away. At this moment, the 3 of them stopped moving and landed on the ground. Their expressions suddenly changed. The ugly woman and her husband, who were originally like wives who were bullied and did not dare to make a sound after being roared at by the Black Bear, now had their eyes bulging. As for the Black Bear, who was acting majestically just now, he immediately bowed and smiled apologetically. One of the shrews slapped the Black Bear's face while the other one pinched the Black Bear's ear. This old woman and her sister helped you vent your anger, but you are now helping an outsider. Are you feeling proud now? Are you not you anymore? You asked us to scram back home and lie on the Kong bed waiting for you. Look at how arrogant you are. Tell me, what benefits did that brat give you to make you protect him like this? If you didn't stop us, that punch would definitely have killed that brat. The Black Bear became weak. He did not dare to resist, talk back and retaliate. I'm wrong. I'm guilty. But I stopped you for your own good. If I didn't stop you, would you have been able to withstand that finger? That is an extremely profound bewitching technique. I have never seen such a high-level bewitching technique in my life. Even if your cultivation base is higher than his, it would still be useless. Moreover, he has a half-step void refinement realm refined corpse. If it wasn't for my strength, I reckon he would have taken out the refined corpse and knocked you out. The black bear felt wronged. If he had acted a little later, his two beautiful wives would have been touched by Ning Fan. He could not bear to do that. Bewitching technique? A half-step void refinement realm refined corpse. The two ugly women were shocked. They did not know that Ning Fan was hiding such a ruthless and insidious method. Is that skinny pretty boy really so powerful? Are you telling the truth? The two women questioned him. It's absolutely true. If I dare to lie, I won't be able to sleep on the Kong bed tonight as punishment. The black bear swallowed his saliva and looked at the two ugly women with a knowing look. In that case, the reason why you chased after those two girls previously wasn't because you liked their beauty. They are beautiful, my foot. They are thin and white. They are not tanned and muscular enough. I don't want them even if they are sent to me. The black bear revealed a look of disdain. He really did not think that Wu Yan and Shi Ran were beautiful. He liked tanned and muscular women who were more exciting in bed. After looking at his two ugly wives carefully, the black bear nodded his head. Sure enough, his wives were more pleasing to the eye. They were so beautiful that it was as if they were having sex in the wilderness. Humph! You have a sweet mouth. The two ugly women were delighted. No matter how ugly a woman was, they would still like someone to praise them for their beauty. However, they also understood that they were a little ugly and their man's sense of beauty had always been problematic. The two of them finally believed their man's words. Perhaps Man Shan was exaggerating a little, but they had to admit that Ning Fan was indeed powerful. In just a short exchange of blows, he managed to break their aura force head-on. This was not something an ordinary person could do. Since you have a sweet mouth, I will only punish you by not sleeping on the Kong bed for 3 days. Don't. I'm suffocating. The black bear held his lower body and felt wronged. However, all of a sudden, his wronged expression turned into a hint of shock. At the same time, the two women turned around and looked at the southern island in disbelief. Void inquiry. That young man has actually comprehended a trace of void power. What is he doing? At the same time, in the sky above the Star Island, an early divine transformation realm old man in black robes who reeked of alcohol was sitting on a huge green wine gourd. He was hidden in the sky. What was strange was that no wild beast could sense his chi even though he was just an early divine transformation realm cultivator. After burping, the old man lowered his head and looked at the Star Island beneath his feet and muttered to himself. I have visited all of the 49,000 immortal void realm formation eyes of the Heaven Palace. Out of the 18 gates of life and death, I have already visited 6 of them. Although I'm not sure what secrets are hidden in this Star Palace, as a deacon of the 4 seas, I should report to the upper world after discovering such a change in the void of the rain world. I might as well take credit for it. I can't let the other deacon take advantage of me. Sigh. Rain world. It's a pity that I didn't see old man Han. I heard that he went to the sword world. With my authority, I can't go there for the time being. Someone is asking about the void? A mere early divine transformation realm cultivator is trying to comprehend the void power and create his own Dao intent technique using the void power as a starting point. Hee hee. Ants in the lower world always overestimate themselves. An ant trying to shake a tree and a mantis trying to stop a chariot. Why bother? Gulp, gulp, the old man gulped down a few mouthfuls of wine. His expression that had just become sober became gloomy again. In his hazy state, he seemed to have seen an early divine transformation realm cultivator trying something that only void refinement realm cultivators would dare to do. His tiny figure gradually overlapped with an old friend of his. When a trace of the old devil's chi emerged from the black demon flame around Ning Fan's body, the drunk old man suddenly sobered up. Old Man Han's chi. Who is this young man to Old Man Han? The old man's cloudy eyes were moved for the first time. Chapter 294. Inside the cave, the two women were still in a deep sleep. Outside the cave, Ning Fan made a decisive move with his finger, causing wind and mist to rise in all directions. The golden-purple wind and mist formed a 10,000 zhang large purple painting in the sky. Everything that dashed into the painting, be it the clouds or the birds, immediately turned into ashes and dissipated, dying in the samsara. When Man Shan saw the golden-purple wind and mist from afar, his scalp felt slightly numb. This technique was displayed by Ning Fan. With the current power of this finger, it could kill a late divine transformation realm expert. However, it was much weaker against a peak divine transformation realm expert. It would not be difficult for a half-step void refinement realm expert to withstand it. The black bear could withstand this finger. However, the power contained in this finger gave him an urge to kneel down and worship it. Before this finger, he suddenly felt that the demon Tao that he had cultivated in his entire life had become nothing. When the samsara rang, the monarch Tao became void. At this moment, the eyes of the two ugly women could no longer remain calm. They knew that if Ning Fan used this technique to attack them just now, they would certainly be injured even if they would not die. This finger of wind and mist was somewhat terrifying. If Ning Fan had a late divine transformation realm cultivation base, perhaps the power of this finger could kill the two of them like ants. If it wasn't for their man who stopped Ning Fan, they would probably be either dead or gravely injured. Is this young man really at the early divine transformation realm? Above the sky, the black-robed elderly man put down his wine jar and stared at the golden-purple wind and mist. His expression became more and more solemn. Even though his clone that came to the Star Palace was only at the early divine transformation realm, his true body was an expert at the second heavenly layer of the void fragmentation realm. Even so, he still could not understand the principle behind this golden-purple wind and mist that could corrode everything. When Ning Fan changed his hand seal, the wind and mist that filled the sky turned into a golden-purple round painting. The elderly man's eyes lit up. His cultivation base was at the bottom among the four deacons. However, his understanding of the Tao of formations was something that some life immortals or even true immortals could not compare to. With just a glance, the old man could tell that the purplish gold wind and mist formed a circle, which contained the principles of the formation Tao. Using the circle as the formation and the sand as the drawing. I'm afraid this young man is going to carve his intent realm on the sand drawing to achieve grand completion. I'm afraid that his cultivation base in the Tao of formations isn't even comparable to an ordinary void fragmentation realm cultivator. Judging from his bone age, he isn't even 400 years old. How did he obtain such an astonishing comprehension in the Tao of formations? Old Man Han, did you teach him? Is he your disciple? The old man's eyes were filled with guilt, but he remained silent. However, after Ning Fan drew the rain intent, the silence was replaced by a look of praise. Grade 8 Divine Decree, Rain Will. This child's aptitude isn't bad. He was able to comprehend a grade 8 divine intent in the lower domain. If he was born in the four heavens, I'm afraid he would be able to compete with the heavenly prodigies. Outside the cave, Ning Fan did not know that there was an old man spying on him from above. He only knew that he was being watched by the black bear couple. He was not afraid of revealing his intent realm in front of the black bear. He had 3 types of intent realm in his body. However, when he drew the painting, the black bear would not be able to see through it with his wind mist finger. In his heart, he kept repeating the words karma cycle. It was those words that gave Ning Fan enlightenment and allowed him to conceive how to achieve grand completion in his intent realm. That was to construct a circle and connect different things with each other using a circle. Although the word karma was powerful, it could not escape from the cycle of samsara. The biggest circle in the world was none other than the word samsara. Past life, present life and past life, the cycle of life and death, the cycle of yin and yang. At this moment, Ning Fan had a deeper understanding of the power of samsara in the wind mist finger. He seemed to have understood something. It turned out that the great Tao of yin and yang in his yin-yang locket was still within the cycle of samsara. Great Emperor Ancient Chaos had once listened to the Tao under Immortal Sovereign Zido and created the yin-yang transformation. Ning Fan had also learned from the Immortal Sovereign in the illusory realm and became his student. With his help, he comprehended the wind mist finger. The yin-yang transformation and the wind mist finger actually had one thing in common. That was, the Tao of the Immortal Sovereign. However, the Immortal Sovereign's Tao that Ancient Chaos had stripped away and integrated into his own Tao. His wind mist finger was still far from reaching the level of the yin-yang transformation. Divine intent of rain, condense. His eyes turned resolute and pointed at the purple round diagram in the sky. Thousands of drops of blood dyed the purple diagram, making it look like thousands of blood plum blossoms. His eyes were filled with nostalgia. This nostalgia was the nostalgia he had for 7 Apricot City. This rain is the condensation of my life's slaughter. It's a rain of blood, a sin. However, so what if I've sinned against the world? I want these blood plum blossoms to bloom. Mountain Devil intent, condense. The thousands of blood plum blossoms scattered, but they were connected by the Black Devil chi. Eventually, the Black Devil intent turned into the branches of the plum tree. Hiss. Could this black color be some kind of intent realm? The black bear tried to sense the purple diagram. Just as his spirit sense reached the purple diagram, it was immediately destroyed by the wind mist. His face was filled with shock and he did not dare to probe further. His impression of Ning Fan's wind mist technique increased. As for the old man, his initial surprise turned into astonishment the moment the devil intent manifested. Mountain Devil intent. If a cultivator possesses remarkable abilities, he can indeed condense a second type of intent realm. However, if there are many types of intent realm, they should belong to the same type. Gods can't cultivate the devil Tao and demons can't cultivate the divine Tao. This young man has already condensed the 8th grade rain intent. How could he condense the mountain devil intent? Moreover, this mountain devil intent is so ominous. An ordinary mountain devil intent is just an 8th grade mountain devil intent. This young man has yet to fully comprehend this mountain devil intent. What kind of mountain is this? The old man was astonished. However, what happened next made him even more astonished. A young man in purple robes appeared on the sand diagram. He was obviously the 16-year-old Ning Fan. He was staring at the devil tree Shuame. If the old man was not mistaken, the purple color that formed the young man should be a type of demon intent. Although he was familiar with the demon clan, he didn't know which clan this purple demon intent belonged to. What kind of demon intent is this? It's like a curse. It seems ominous, but it contains great power. This demon intent is probably comparable to the 1st grade demon intent of the True Spirit clan. They are definitely not weaker than the Dragon and Phoenix clans. Could it be that this little cultivator has the intent of the 3 races? This kid was a god, Yao, and devil cultivator. How is this possible? The elderly man's eyes were as deep as the ocean. He wanted to find some clues from Ning Fan's body, but no matter how hard he tried, he could not figure it out. It was impossible for an ordinary person to possess the intent realm of the 3 clans. If this child's actions were to be spread out, it would probably turn the world upside down. No. Perhaps from today onwards, no one would know that this child cultivated 3 races at the same time. Today, his true goal is to merge the 3 intents into one. The black-robed elder took a deep breath. He never would have thought that a mere early-stage soul formation cultivator would be able to do something that countless immortal emperors couldn't. Previously, the elderly man thought that it was impossible for Ning Fan to succeed in the void inquiry stage. Now, however, he suddenly felt that it was nothing strange even if this young man succeeds in the void inquiry stage. This kid was bold and careful when he did things. His gaze was very similar to old man Hans when he was young. Void inquiry stage. Void inquiry stage. The two words void inquiry stage were extremely difficult to achieve. Countless early void refinement realm cultivators had to stop at this stage. If an early void refinement realm cultivator wants to break through to the mid-void refinement realm, he or she must pass the void inquiry stage and attain the void force realm. If a mid-void refinement realm cultivator wanted to break through to the late void refinement realm, they would need to overcome the void pierce tribulation and reach the chi void realm. If a late void refinement realm cultivator wanted to break through to the peak of the void refinement realm, they would have to overcome the barrier of the absolute void and attain the void body realm. In the end, he reached the void fragmentation realm. To advance from the void refinement realm to the void fragmentation realm, one would need to continuously improve their comprehension of intent realms and understand the word void. The void inquiry stage was a stage that only early void refinement realm cultivators could attempt. It was because if the void inquiry stage was successful, they would be able to control the power of the void. The nascent soul realm cultivates primordial force, the divine transformation realm cultivates the heavenly spirit, and the void refinement realm cultivates the void refinement realm cultivates the void force. A divine transformation realm cultivator could not inquire about the void. Moreover, they would be injured or even killed just by being affected by the void force. How could they talk about comprehending and controlling the void force? Can you succeed in the void inquiry stage? The elderly man asked solemnly. Only the sound of the wind could be heard. Ning Fan felt as if his spirit had fused into the painting of the heavens, becoming one with the purple-robed young man. He seemed to have returned to being 16 years old, back in 7 Apricot City, back under that plum tree. He suddenly had an illusion. The current him felt like he was standing in this life and looking back at his past life. However, at the next moment, he felt as if the him in the painting was the real him while the one in the outside world was fake. The seed of samsara power was gradually planted in his heart. It took root and sprouted. Ning Fan had once seen the past through the bell of samsara. However, he had yet to see the future. What is real and what is fake? What is void and what is real? The me on the star island, the me in the purple painting, the me in the illusory realm and the me in the celestial emperor's medicinal garden. Which one is the real me? Void inquiry stage. The first realm of cultivation was divided into 7 steps. From the beginning to the end, these 7 steps were all about understanding the word void. If one could not distinguish the real from the fake, one would not be able to control the power of the void. What is void? Ning Fan roared at the sky as if he had gone mad. He pointed a finger and the void force that lingered at the tip of his finger went into the purple painting. Then, it turned into black snow and fell to the ground. Yes. Yes, I am real and the painting is a void. This void is not an illusion. I have indeed stood under the plum tree and thought about the future. The two words void and reality are not absolute. When I look at the past from now on, it is an illusion and an illusion. When I look at the present from the future, I also see the present as an illusion. In the illusory realm, I stood on a 7 million zhang tall mountain, trying to comprehend the purple technique and leave the illusory realm. However, immortal sovereign Zido said that the illusory realm might not be fake. At that time, I did not understand it. Now, I somewhat understand it. What is void is not important. In immortal sovereign Zido's eyes, he made the illusory realm real and the illusory realm was real. If he said that the 4 heavens and 9 worlds are void, everything is void. His cultivation realm is already above the void and he can rewrite history with a single thought. This is samsara. Samsara. Ning Fan's eyes became clearer. At this moment, Ning Fan's virtual image that was condensed by the Fuli demon intent in the purple painting above the heavens suddenly looked in the direction of the star island and met Ning Fan's eyes. It was as if the past and the future were intertwined and overlapped. That was samsara. I understand now. Ning Fan took a step forward. The purple painting shattered and the heavens turned upside down. His eyes were tightly shut, but his aura force was rising steadily. This aura force was not the improvement of his cultivation base but the refinement and sublimation of his intent realm. The power of the three intent realms gradually fused. The new intent realm that was formed after the fusion was the overlapping of dark purple and dark red. This intent realm had already surpassed the first grade. At this moment, Ning Fan's intent realm reached the grand completion stage. He suddenly opened his eyes and raised both of his palms. His left hand was a purple tornado while his right hand was a black snowflake. My left hand is the wind and my right hand is the snow. The past is buried in the snow and the present is blown by the wind. I will use my magic power to form the wind and my void force to form the snow. When the wind and snow merge, it will be samsara. When both of his palms touched each other, purple chi swirled around Ning Fan's body. An ancient black tree appeared behind him with thousands of bloody plums blooming on the tree. With a flick of his finger, a purple breeze flowed on his fingertip. However, when the purple breeze pointed at that direction, it carried pieces of frightening black snowflakes which were crystal clear and terrifying. Ning Fan gently tore the air in front of him with his fingertip. However, he seemed to have grasped something. When he exerted a little force, the sky within 1,000 li was actually torn apart as easily as tearing a piece of paper. He Xiong's expression changed greatly. Even with his half-step void refinement realm cultivation base, he could not tear the void so easily. However, Ning Fan did it easily with the help of his wind and snow finger. The immortal sovereign's Tao is pervasive with wind and snow. The immortal sovereign's Tao is lonely in the wind and snow. This doesn't mean that my wind and snow is stronger than the immortal sovereign's wind and snow. It's just that this wind and snow is the most suitable for me. This is the snow of the 7 apricot city, the snow of my hometown. After dispersing his intent realm and the wind and snow, Ning Fan closed his eyes and gently lifted his palm. What he saw shocked him. As he moved his fingertip, a trace of void force was immediately drawn by him. This void force might not be strong enough, but it was definitely not something that a divine transformation realm cultivator could master. In the past, Ning Fan relied on the Eastern Ocean Bell to stay in the void. Now, he felt that he would be fine as long as he did not stay in the void for too long. It was because he had already succeeded in the void inquiry stage and mastered the key to controlling the void force. During the process of comprehending the intent realm, his understanding of the two words void and truth had improved and he had comprehended the method of using void force. He had perfected the wind and mist finger and advanced it into the wind and snow technique. He had fused 3 types of intent realms into the grand accomplishment realm and turned it into the 7 apricot snow cold intent realm. Perhaps it was most suitable to call that intent realm the 7 apricot city. Other than these 2 benefits, he had also touched the threshold of the void force. If old ancestor Dong Su could touch the void force once, he would have broken through to the void refinement realm a long time ago. This trace of void force was of great significance. In the sky, the black-robed old man who was sitting cross-legged in the green jade wine gourd was filled with emotions. It's done. This kid has actually succeeded in the void inquiry stage and comprehended a trace of the void force. There's no mistake. When he condensed his intent realm, the magic power chi that he released at the end indeed had traces of Old Man Han's cultivation method. This kid should be Old Man Han's disciple without a doubt. However, after a while, the old man's eyes suddenly widened with surprise. Oh no! I forgot about this. Kid, be careful. The black-robed old man suddenly remembered that the void of 1,000 li that Ning Fan had torn open had yet to heal. The void that was torn open by the wind-snow technique could not be healed. If a divine transformation realm cultivator's magic power collides with it, the void would shatter but it would heal soon. However, this was not a collision of magic power. Instead, it was the void that was torn open on its own after comprehending the void force. Unless the owner of the void force allows it to heal, the void will not heal on its own. If the void force is torn open for a long time, there will be unexpected dangers, void storm. When the void of 1,000 Li was torn open, the void storm that was created was enough to destroy an entire mid-grade cultivation country. If the storm spreads, apart from a small number of experts, the rest of the people on this star island would die. The old man was not sure whether Ning Fan would die in the storm or not. He must act immediately to save him because this kid was Old Devil's disciple. Be careful. The black-robed old man shouted and immediately revealed himself. His shout shocked the black bear. Even Ning Fan was shocked. There's actually another expert hiding in this place. And he's just an early divine transformation realm cultivator. Who is this person? Before they had the time to think about this question, the void force in the void condensed into a gust of wind. The wind kept growing and eventually, a black storm rushed towards the sky like a storm. Under this storm, even the black bear felt his scalp go numb. Ning Fan was not afraid of the void storm because he had the Eastern Ocean bell. However, the two girls in the cave did not have the bell to protect them. If the void storm comes, they will die for sure. Not good. Ning Fan's eyes became resolute. He almost wanted to rush into the cave to protect the two girls. However, at this moment, the black-robed old man who warned them stepped on the green jade gourd and stood in front of the storm. He then pressed his finger down. Break. As soon as this word was uttered, the black storm completely collapsed. One word: void fragmentation realm. This person is a void fragmentation realm expert. Ning Fan's expression changed. If a void fragmentation realm expert enters the third world, this world would certainly collapse. The third world of the land of slumber should only allow void refinement realm experts to enter at most. It was impossible for a void fragmentation realm expert to enter this place. Who is this person? I used to be Han Yuanji's brother. Now, I am no longer worthy. I have no evil intentions towards you. Don't worry. The old man sighed as if he saw Ning Fan's vigilance. He flicked his sleeve and the void recovered. Master's former brother. Ning Fan did not know if this person's words were true or false. But if this person was really the old monster's friend and had a void fragmentation realm cultivation, could it be a friend from above the four heavens? The old monster's friends in the 9 worlds were at most at the level of Sinister Sparrow. They did not have such a tyrannical strength that could shatter the void storm with just a finger. While he was still full of doubts, the black bear's expression changed drastically. That early divine transformation brat actually has a void fragmentation realm backing him. Fortunately, I did not fight with him just now, otherwise, even if the black bear had 100 bear gallbladders, they would all be crushed by this black-robed old man's finger. This person is terrifyingly strong. As for the 2 ugly women who showed hostility towards Ning Fan, they no longer had a trace of arrogance. That person actually knows a void fragmentation realm. Should we go and greet that senior? Just as the 2 girls' words came out, the black-robed old man seemed to have heard them from afar. In 3 breaths, if you don't scram, you will die. This word, scram, was much more powerful than what Ning Fan said that day. Without any hesitation, the black bear picked up his 2 ugly wives and ran for his life. What he saw and heard today was a bit scary. His face was full of bitterness as he sighed. This void fragmentation realm expert did not have any evil intentions towards Ning Fan. Naturally, he had good intentions. This was his backing. With such a strong backing, if Ning Fan asked for the star-tempering purple Zoisha, should I give it or not? Can I provoke a void fragmentation realm expert? What choice do I have? AI, give it. If I don't give it, I will lose my life. The black bear did not know that the current Ning Fan was not interested in the star-tempering purple zoysia. Chapter 295. The giant bear was frightened by the black-robed old man and retreated. The void closed and the vast sky returned to silence. Amidst the whistling wind, the old man jumped and landed a few zhang away from Ning Fan with his gourd. However, Ning Fan was still quite vigilant towards the old man. He instinctively flapped his demon wings and retreated 100 zhang away. His right sleeve was already holding a section of a black golden dragon while his left palm was hiding a dazzling starlight. He did not know what kind of treasure it was, but as soon as he took it out, the power of the earth veins within 100,000 li faintly gathered in it. I don't know who you are and I don't know who Han Yuanji is. Ning Fan's tone was flat. He was not a newbie who had just entered the cultivation world. He would not believe others just because they tried to get close to him. At least, Ning Fan could not guarantee that the person in front of him was not Old Devil's enemy in disguise. If he were to say something careless, he would certainly be in big trouble. After activating the purple star, Ning Fan's eyesight was greatly enhanced. The Fu Li eye was able to see through the old man's background. The old man's true body might be a void fragmentation realm old monster, but this body was just an early divine transformation realm clone. It might be able to use the void force ability of a void fragmentation realm old monster, but Ning Fan had the Eastern Ocean Bell. If he were to risk his life, he would not be afraid of the void force attack of a mere clone. However, the sense of danger that this person gave him was indeed above the black bear. Most likely, the combat power of this clone was close to the void refinement realm. I can't underestimate this person. Unbeknownst to him, Ning Fan's vigilance made the old man praise, surprise, bitterness and a complicated expression. He praised Ning Fan for being careful in handling matters. He was surprised that Ning Fan had a half-step void refinement realm spiritual puppet despite being just an early divine transformation realm cultivator. Moreover, with his eyesight, he could also see that this item was refined by Ning Fan himself. Not only that, the treasure in Ning Fan's left hand could activate the formation power of 100,000 li. This made the old man's eyes brighten. This treasure is actually a treasure of the Tao of formations. However, in the end, the old man felt bitter and apologetic. My name is Wei Xian. Junior Liu Bei greets Senior Wei. Ning Fan's expression did not change at all. There was not a trace of familiarity in his expression. Didn't your master tell you about me? That's right, he probably wouldn't be willing to talk about someone like me. The old man changed his hand seal and put away the green jade gourd. He took the purple gourd from his waist and gulped down a mouthful of wine. You cultivate the black demon technique, and the aura in your body has the aura of Old Man Han. However, you don't know that although the black demon technique isn't strong, it has a special meaning. The inheritance of this cultivation method represents the succession of the black demon sect master. In the future, if you ascend to the northern heaven and enter the yin-yang star, you can inherit the black demon sect. Although the current black devil sect has declined and is being bullied many times, there are still 48,000 divine transformation realm cultivators and 7 life immortals in the sect. These are all your forces. Your master has been treating you very well. Ning Fan remained silent. He still did not admit his identity, but his heart was filled with surprise. Although the black demon's secret art was not the strongest, nor was it a complete fiend god's secret art, it still had such a profound meaning. This was the first time he had obtained the black demon art, and he had been disgusted with it. He had even wanted to throw it away and reject it. Indeed, the old monster said that he was the 972nd sect master of the Black Devil sect. However, Ning Fan thought that this sect master was just an empty shell. He never thought that there were still 48,000 divine transformation realm cultivators and 7 life immortals in the northern heaven that were under his command. Be happy for me. I don't know how many people want my cultivation method. Recalling the old monster's words, Ning Fan sighed. Before he knew it, the old monster had already handed over such a huge force to him. Moreover, the force was so powerful that even the experts of the 9 worlds combined could not be compared to it. At this point, Ning Fan still did not admit his identity. Wei Xian nodded in appreciation. Old Man Han had a lot of enemies. If he casually announced his identity, he was afraid that this young man would be killed secretly. This young man is too cautious. He would rather kill 100,000 innocent people than let one person go. He is very similar to Old Man Han. There is only one way to make this young man believe me. Make a Great Heart Devil Oath. I can make a Great Heart Devil Oath. You are Old Man Han's disciple, so I won't harm you at all. You don't have to hide your identity in front of me. In the past, when the old man was in trouble, I couldn't help him openly because of my clan. It was the greatest shame of my life. However, even when the White Devil sect forced my Wei clan into a corner, crippled my human immortal realm cultivation base, destroyed my immortal foundation and reduced my cultivation to the second heavenly layer of the void fragmentation realm, I still didn't betray him. If I say even half a word of falsehood, I will immediately be devoured by my inner demons and be reduced to ashes. You can trust me. Great Heart Demon Oath. Ning Fan was a little surprised. The mind-reading art could see the truth of a woman's words, and the great oath of the heart demon could tell if a man was lying. If this Wei Xian was lying, he would have been devoured by the heart demon long ago, and his cultivation would have been severely damaged. This oath could not be made easily. Even Ning Fan would not simply make an oath to someone. However, Wei Xian was very serious. Not only did he discover the great oath of the heart's devil, but he also swore an oath that would turn him into ashes. It was enough to show that he was not lying. Otherwise, the heavenly Tao would have already sent down a heart devil to destroy this person. This person was really the old devil's brother. This person even had his immortal foundation destroyed for the sake of the old monster. Junior Ning Fan was afraid of Senior's identity, so I did not dare to speak the truth. I hope Senior can forgive me. It's just that my master had never told me about what happened in the 4 heavens, so I did not know Senior. It's not that my master does not value Senior. This person was the old devil's brother, so Ning Fan no longer hid his true identity. So Old Man Han did not tell you anything. Wei Xian's expression softened. Ning Fan's explanation was undoubtedly a great comfort to him. It was not that Old Man Han had forgotten about him, but he did not want his disciple to get involved in the past grudges, so he did not say anything. Immediately, Wei Xian sighed and said, Old Man Han did not tell you anything, but I have left out a lot of things. It seems to be a little inappropriate. He did not tell you because he has his own concerns. He does not want to burden you too much. However, you need to understand that being the Black Devil sect master is a kind of glory. Do not look down on it. Yes. How is your master? Isn't he looking for the yin-yang Dao fruit in the rain world to heal his wife? Why did he go to the sword world? Yin-yang Dao fruit. Ning Fan's heart shuddered. Wasn't there only a small chance of obtaining the Dao fruit by killing a cultivator? Could it be that the old devil accepted me as a disciple to nurture me to the void fragmentation realm and then kill me? No. Impossible. There was only a 1% chance of obtaining the Dao fruit by killing a cultivator. Even if the old devil was a shrewd and ruthless person, he would not gamble on this 1% chance. The old devil was in Yu country to find the yin-yang inheritance and to wait for the opening of the ancient heavenly court to find the Dao fruit in the fiend god desolate ruins. The old devil once said that he would need Ning Fan's help to save his wife. It would hurt Ning Fan greatly, but he would not die. Ning Fan closed his eyes and the past flashed in his mind. Eventually, he shook his head and calmed down. When he opened his eyes, it was peaceful. Master will not kill me. If he wants to kill me, with his true immortal cultivation, he could teach me some secret techniques to rapidly increase my strength to the void fragmentation realm and then kill me. Furthermore, with his methods, he could use a secret technique similar to the blood-changing technique in the demon world to forcefully increase my strength to the void fragmentation realm within 100 years. He could do it. But he didn't. I don't believe that master will kill me. Ning Fan's eyes changed. Since he believed that the old devil would harm him, then there should be other ways to obtain the Yin-Yang Dao fruit. May I ask, Senior, other than killing an enemy cultivator, is there any other way to obtain the Dao fruit? Of course there is. Any true immortal cultivator would use this technique once or twice, and that is Dao planting. Dao fruit, the name Dao fruit, naturally, it can be planted. Compared to the low probability of killing a cultivator, planting a Dao seed to obtain Dao fruit was the most reliable method. As long as one collected a Dao seed of a certain quality and planted it in a special Dao soil, if nothing went wrong, it would definitely bear Dao fruit. However, the Dao planting technique is too slow. The first step is thousands of years. The higher the quality of the Dao fruit, the longer it will take. So that's how it is. Ning Fan nodded. He chose to believe in the old devil. The old devil's method was undoubtedly Dao planting. At that time, he might refine the yin-yang Dao seed and suffer some damage, but this damage was not enough to repay the fate of being a master and disciple with the old devil. Oh right, you haven't answered this old man. Why did old man Han want to go to the sword world? Did he find the owner of the yin-yang evil vein? Or did he obtain the yin-yang Dao fruit? But why does he want to go to the sword world? Wei Xian had a lot of questions. I am the yin-yang evil vein that master is looking for. Ning Fan said indifferently. What? Wei Xian's expression changed. So to say, when I mentioned the yin-yang Dao fruit, this child had a struggle in his heart. This child did not know about Dao planting, so he must have guessed whether the old devil wanted to kill him or not. But in the end, this child did not struggle for long and decided to trust the old devil. This kind of trust fell on an extremely cautious person. It was very difficult in the cultivation world where the relationship between a master and disciple was cold, it was even more difficult. How many masters accepted disciples only for the sake of devouring their disciples as Dao corpses? How many disciples killed their masters, seized positions, fought for medicines, and killed mercilessly? Under such a big background, Ning Fan was still willing to trust the old devil and calmly asked if there was another way to obtain the Dao fruit. This child trusts old man Han from the bottom of his heart. And old man Han must also trust him like this, that's why he did not hesitate to give such a huge force to this child. This relationship between master and disciple was constructed by benefits, but there was no betrayal. Wei Xian took a deep breath and looked at Ning Fan with a completely different gaze. The old devil accepted many disciples in his life, and most of them died tragically. There was only one person who he regarded as his own son, and now there was a second one. You and Han Yetian must be special to old man Han for you. Old man Han directly gave you to all the forces and has absolutely no intention of harming you. This old man can vouch for him. For Han Yetian, this person was originally a mortal with a weak physique and was not suitable for cultivation, but old man Han forcibly went to several true immortal sects and killed as many as the clouds for this child's physique. Hehe, if you guys don't trust old man Han, I'm afraid he will be bitterly disappointed. Han Yetian. When Wei Xian mentioned this person, Ning Fan's eyes revealed the light of hatred. That's right, where is Nyetian? Did he also go to the sword world? Wei Xian revealed a look of reminiscence. He betrayed master. He once said that the day the ancient heavenly court opens will be the day to take master's life. Because of him, master went to the sword world. Han Yetian betrayed. Wei Xian's eyes revealed a look of disbelief. Ning Fan did not say much and directly imprinted the memory of that day for Wei Xian to have a look. Wei Xian's eyes gradually turned blood red as his spirit sense seeped into the jade slip. His fists were clenched so tightly that his nails penetrated into his flesh. His body couldn't help but tremble because of excessive anger. After a few breaths, he crushed the jade slip and a crazy roar resounded throughout the Star Island. Beast! Beast! Without Han Yuanji, what are you, Han Yetian? You're just a waste immortal seed, immortal. Without Han Yuanji, how could you, Han Yetian, become a spirit-severing realm expert? If that's the case, it's all because of you, the beast, that Han Yuanji was chased by the true immortals of the 7 sects. Moksha sovereign of the devil world, Nirvana devil vein, void fragmentation 5th layer. Humph, what a great reputation. If this old man still has his cultivation, killing you is as easy as killing a dog. Nirvana devil vein. What old man Han formed for him was obviously the black fire devil vein. Did this beast submit to the white devil sect? Wei Xian closed his eyes, but his anger couldn't be dispelled. But in the end, he sighed helplessly. Han Yetian's power was already established. The current him might not be this beast's opponent. But, the first time I was betrayed by him, the second time I was devoured by him. Why didn't old man Han say anything? His heart is actually very bitter. Wei Xian's eyes finally became desolate. He was old together with the old devil. When a person starts to lament the past, his heart is old. Let me kill this bastard. Ning Fan's indifferent words contained killing intent that couldn't be erased. He will go to the ancient heavenly court. After that, I will not give him a chance to come to the sword world. You want to kill Han Yetian? Wei Xian looked at Ning Fan with astonishment. Han Yetian was a 5th heavenly layer void fragmentation expert while Ning Fan was just an early spirit-severing realm expert. According to Wei Xian's knowledge, the opening of the ancient heavenly court was less than 70 years away. He couldn't calculate the exact time since his specialty wasn't divination. However, even a true immortal sect couldn't raise a spirit-severing realm expert to the void fragmentation realm after accumulating countless heavenly treasures, let alone a 5th heavenly layer void fragmentation realm expert. However, the battle intent in Ning Fan's eyes wasn't fake. Although Wei Xian didn't believe that Ning Fan had such strength, he believed that Ning Fan wouldn't follow Han Yetian's path of betrayal. It's not a waste for old man Han to have you as his disciple. I can't go to the devil world on my own because of my duty. Even if I go there, I won't be a match for Moksha Sovereign. As for old man Han's old friends, it's already difficult for them not to betray him. It's also difficult to count on them to deal with Han Yetian. Although I don't know how many people I can find, I will try my best to find them. On the day of the ancient heavenly court's opening, I will try my best to bring some people to support you. Who knows? We might be able to kill that bastard. Before that, I have to give you some benefits. I can't let you call me senior in vain. I will give you all the help I can. I have 4 peak void refinement realm Dao fruits and 1 first heavenly layer void fragmentation realm Dao fruit. I was planning to use it to break through to the 3rd heavenly layer of the void fragmentation realm. Here you go. Wei Xian untied the storage pouch on his waist and passed it to Ning Fan with a solemn expression. This is my greeting gift. If you reject it, it means that you are not giving me face. Ning Fan's expression changed. He had never thought that he would accidentally obtain 5 such astonishing Dao fruits from Wei Xian. With his current cultivation base, he was still unable to consume these 5 Dao fruits. Otherwise, his body would explode. However, if the news of him possessing 5 Dao fruits were to spread out, it would be enough to cause a frenzy in the Rain world. Even void fragmentation realm old monsters might be blinded by greed and hunt him down. The value of these 5 Dao fruits was already difficult to be measured with immortal jade. Chapter 296. The southern island had completely turned into a forbidden area. This time, the black bear did not allow any explanation and directly gave a death order. Whoever dares to cause trouble in the southern island will be killed. The outside world had heard that he was afraid of an early divine transformation realm cultivator. If he was reluctant before, he no longer felt reluctant now. I am a coward. What? Is it embarrassing to be a coward in front of a void fragmentation realm old monster? Of course, it was impossible for the black bear to announce Wei Xian's existence. The three of them were very tight-lipped. They were afraid that Wei Xian would be angered and he would massacre the entire island. In the cave, the two ladies were still sleeping. Ning Fan sent the female corpse and Yu Lingkong to look after them while he followed Wei Xian to a remote and gloomy valley on the island. In the valley, Wei Xian and Ning Fan's figures appeared one after another. The reason why we came back to this gloomy valley was because Wei Xian promised Ning Fan another benefit. Let's talk about Ning Fan's gains first. Wei Xian first gave him 5 Dao fruits. 4 of them were peak void refinement realm and 1 was at the first heavenly layer of the void fragmentation realm. The magic power contained in these 5 Dao fruits was unimaginable. At least with Ning Fan's current cultivation base, he did not dare to consume any of them. Otherwise, his body would explode and he would die instantly. Wei Xian gave Ning Fan some pills. However, most of them were 5th and 6th revolution pills. 7th revolution pills were already extremely difficult to obtain. Even Wei Xian only had a small amount of them and most of them were useless to Ning Fan. Other than medicine for injuries and secret methods, there were not many pills that could increase one's cultivation base. There were 2 bottles of mid-grade 5th Revolution Thunder Profound pills with a total of 20 pills. Each pill could increase 100 units of magic power of an early divine transformation realm cultivator. 1 bottle of high-grade 5th Revolution Purple Heaven pills with a total of 11 pills. Each pill could increase 200 units of magic power of an intermediate divine transformation realm cultivator. Wei Xian did not have a lot of pills. He was not a pill refinement master and he did not need low-grade pills with his current cultivation base. These pills were snatched from an unlucky cultivator's storage pouch. As for magic treasures, he did not give them to Ning Fan because he was already full of praises for the 3 immemorial divine weapons Ning Fan showed him. In the valley, Wei Xian looked at the starlight compass in his hand and sighed. The Separation Slayer sword was sharp and the spirit-shattering whip could injure one's primordial spirit. Especially, the 3rd divine weapon was the star-fixing plate. This treasure contains 110,000 types of spirit-grade formations, 20,000 types of core-grade formations, 1,700 types of nascent-grade formations, 257 types of transformation-grade formations and 7 types of mortal void-grade formations. There are already 10,000 star lamps on this treasure. If I can light up 10,000 star lamps, I'm afraid that the defense of this treasure can even withstand a void refinement realm attack. However, after exclaiming in admiration, Wei Xian frowned slightly. You might have had some other fortuitous encounter to be able to know so many powerful ancient formations. Your Tao of formations is indeed not weak. The idea of using formations to refine treasures has also made this old man's eyes light up. I'm afraid that the one who came up with such a method of refining treasures must be a world-shocking senior. However, this treasure has a lot of flaws. These flaws are not a problem with the ancient formations, the materials, or the method of refining treasures. Instead, it is the lack of understanding of the Tao of formations. Wei Xian looked at Ning Fan thoughtfully and said while shaking his head. Which school of array Tao do you cultivate? Which school? Ning Fan shook his head helplessly. His Tao of formations was completely inherited from ancient chaos's memories. His pill refinement technique was still in the school of the 9 revolutions river wheel. As for his Tao of formations, he did not belong to any orthodox school at all. After all, Great Emperor Ancient Chaos was an immortal emperor. Of course, it was easy for him to master formations below the immortal void realm. However, among the immortal emperors at the same level, Ancient Chaos was not famous for his Tao of formations. The Tao of formations that he was proficient in was probably the rapid cultivation method of dual cultivation and consuming pills. Ning Fan's aptitude in the Tao of formations was not bad. After inheriting ancient chaos's mixed memories, his Tao of formations could barely be considered as not weak. However, in the eyes of a true grandmaster in the Tao of formations, his Tao of formations would have many flaws. The cultivation of the Tao of formations required a meticulous mind and cultivation base. Only then could one distinguish and calculate the complex and intricate formation eyes from the unreadable terrain. It required a strong spirit sense to carve the formation eyes. It required a large amount of money to activate the formation power. However, he had never gone through the basic learning of the Tao of formations. In terms of the overall understanding of the Tao of formations, he was much better than his peers. However, there were still many flaws in the details. Wei Xian was a little speechless. Ning Fan had never gone through the orthodox learning of the Tao of formations. How could he have such a shocking Tao of formations? It was impossible even if he had obtained the inheritance of enlightenment. Formations were different from other things. Even if you know the method to set up a formation, you would not be able to set it up without a monstrous mind and calculation. Being able to set up a mortal void realm formation meant that Ning Fan was a monster. However, there were flaws in even a spirit realm formation. It meant that Ning Fan's foundation in the Tao of formations was too weak. Forget it. After all, you were born in the lower world. It's not strange that you don't know about the 9 factions of the formation faction. In the 4 heavens, the Tao of formations is divided into 9 factions. As for the He Luo Galaxy, where my Wei clan lives, it is known as the birthplace of the He Luo Galaxy. In my He Luo Galaxy, the cultivation of the Tao of formations is divided into form formation and heart formation. Form formation refers to the formation that needs to be arranged beforehand. It requires external objects to support the formation power. There are 3 types in total: human formation, earth formation, and heaven formation. Human formation uses people as the formation. The military formation of mortal cultivators and the battle formation of immortal guards are all of this type. It focuses on the word harmony. Earth formation needs the help of the terrain. Any formation that is set up using the terrain is considered as an earth formation. It focuses on the word geography. Heaven formation uses astronomical phenomena as a formation. When the Tao of formations is cultivated to a certain level, the layout of the sun, moon, and stars and the changes of the wind, rain and snow can all be used as a formation to kill the enemy. It focuses on the word timing. The 3 types of formations of heaven, earth, and human are all part of the form formation. Regarding form formation, your foundation is weak. However, your high comprehension ability is rare even in the He Luo Galaxy. As for heart formation, you have almost no achievements at all. Heart formation can be compared to magic techniques. A true formation grandmaster doesn't need the assistance of a formation plate during a battle. The magic techniques they cast with a wave of their hands are like sense restriction or the spirit seals of your magic treasures. They are the application of heart formation. They can be used to attack the enemy with magic techniques without having to set up a formation. Heart formation is powerful, but there is a restriction. It requires inheritance of blood. In the He Luo Galaxy, outstanding disciples would usually receive the inheritance of their ancestors from their clans or sections. Not only would their innate talent in the Tao of formations improve by leaps and bounds, but even their spirit sense would also improve tremendously. Most importantly, after obtaining this inheritance, one can start cultivating heart formation. Wei Xian explained patiently. The more Ning Fan listened, the more he sighed. The Tao of formations that he had explored blindly was far from being comparable to the true formation Tao clans. The usefulness of ancient chaos's memories was getting lesser and lesser. Presumably, after attaining the void fragmentation realm, it would no longer be of any help to him. His Tao of formations would certainly stop at the immortal void realm. Compared to the disciples of the 4 heavens, he lacked the inheritance of blood and effort from the very beginning. He also lacked the systematic teaching of the Tao of formations. Wei Xian gulped down a mouthful of wine. His eyes seemed to be hesitating. After a long time, he gritted his teeth and waved his sleeve. He took out an exquisite jade bottle and passed it to Ning Fan. Inside the bottle was a drop of blood. It was a drop of silver blood. Just by holding the jade bottle in his hand, Ning Fan could feel a force rushing towards him. It made his spirit sense become extremely active. This is... Ning Fan's eyes turned serious. The value of this item was definitely not ordinary. This is the blood and effort of a Fate Immortal Realm ancestor of my Wei clan. It was left behind using a secret technique before his death. I originally planned to use this blood to improve my Tao of Formations. However, it seems like this item will be more useful to you. There was one thing that Wei Xian did not tell Ning Fan. The blood and effort of the clan must never be passed on to outsiders. Wei Xian did not treat Ning Fan as an outsider. However, if the clan found out that he secretly gave away the blood and effort of the clan, there was a high possibility that he would be expelled from the clan. After all, the blood and effort of the clan was like the bloodline of the demon race. It contained some secret formation inheritance of the Formation Tao clans. Ning Fan was not a hothead. Even if Wei Xian did not say it, he also understood that such a precious item like the blood and effort of the clan must be strictly supervised. If I accept this item, I am afraid that it will implicate Senior. You take it. Wei Xian's words were not to be refused. He did not care about anything else to give Ning Fan benefits. At first, it was because he felt guilty towards the old monster. But now, the more he looked at Ning Fan, the more he liked him. As such, Ning Fan would no longer pretend to refuse. However, he secretly remembered Wei Xian's kindness in his heart. If Wei Xian was wronged in the Wei clan because of this, then in the future, Ning Fan would increase his strength and help him get revenge in the Wei clan. You have already obtained the blood and effort of the clan. I have already violated the clan's rules once. Why can't I do it again? You can take this as well. Wei Xian patted his storage pouch and took out an ancient jade slip and gave it to Ning Fan. Ning Fan's expression immediately changed when he scanned the jade slip with his spirit sense. This jade slip recorded the cultivation method and formation record of the He Luo clan's Tao of Formations. Its name was The Secret of He Luo clan's Tao of Formations. The formation record recorded a large number of ancient formations. There were even formations above the immortal void realm. As for the Tao of Formations, it specialized in cultivating heart power and mind power. After all, these two were the key to a cultivator's success in setting up a formation. With such a perfect cultivation system, if Ning Fan continued to cultivate it, it was not impossible for him to become a grandmaster in the Tao of Formations in the future. You don't have to refuse. Just accept it. Wei Xian said seriously. 5 Tao fruits, a large number of pills, the blood and effort inheritance, the secret of the Wei clan's formation. These benefits would not be of much use in a short period of time. However, they would be of great help to Ning Fan's future. I dare not forget what Senior has given me. You don't have to be so reserved. What's the difference between me and Old Man Han? Alright, let's not talk about this anymore. Do you know why I brought you to this valley? The Yin Qi in this place is extremely dense. Senior must have noticed that I cultivate the corpse devil vein and wanted to give me another opportunity to help me improve my devil cultivation. Ning Fan's eyes lit up. His demon power was already at the divine transformation realm. It was just a matter of time for his magic power to reach the divine transformation realm. However, his devil cultivation was still weak. He only had 109 armor of devil chi and was stuck at the mid-nascent soul realm. The biggest reason was that he could not find a large amount of corpse chi, yin chi, and evil intent to cultivate the corpse devil record. However, it seemed like Wei Xian could help Ning Fan remove this obstacle. You have a good mind. As you said, this is my goal. Although I don't know why you cultivate the yin-yang devil vein, you can also cultivate the corpse devil vein and possess demon blood. You can also cultivate the corpse devil vein and possess demon blood. However, this is your secret. I won't ask. Before that, I have something to ask you. Do you know what secrets are hidden in this star palace? This place is a labyrinth formed by the Star of Heavenly Emperor. I must get the Star of Heavenly Emperor. Ning Fan did not hide anything. Wei Xian was one of them. Heavenly Emperor. Wei Xian's expression changed. I see. No wonder so many demons have gathered in this world. Not only the true spirit demon clan in the demon spirit land, but also the demon concubines of the Spirit King Palace. Kid, did you even accept the demon concubines of the Spirit King Palace? Wei Xian looked at Ning Fan with a strange expression. He could vaguely sense that there were 2 traces of female demon qi in the temporary abode. It was the unique demon qi of the demon concubines of the Spirit King Palace. I was just lucky. Ning Fan did not deny it. You have a way. How dare you touch a woman of that status? Wei Xian revealed a look of admiration. Ning Fan was indeed worthy of being the disciple of Old Man Han. Both of them were lawless and out of control. Wei Xian did not care who the Star of Heavenly Emperor would be. It was only his duty to monitor the changes in this place. He was also a deacon of the 4 seas. If there were any huge changes in the rain world, he must report it to the upper world. If Ning Fan took a fancy to the precious treasure of this place, the Star of Heavenly Emperor, Wei Xian would certainly help him as his senior. In the Heavenly Palace, there is an immortal void realm grand formation with a total of 49,000 formation eyes. Out of every 7 formation eyes, 6 will die and 1 will survive. If you obtain this inheritance, it won't be difficult for you to cross these 49,000 formation eyes. Behind the grand formation, there are 18 gates of life and death. Among them, 9 of them will survive and 9 of them will die. I have gone through 6 of them and all of them were dead ends. As for the other 3 gates, I can't enter them with my fragile body because I can't bear the pressure. The Star of Heavenly Emperor that you want is probably in one of those 3 gates. With my memory jade slip, you can avoid entering the gate of life and the gate of death. You just need to choose one of the 3 gates and you will have a good chance of snatching the Star of Heavenly Emperor from the hands of the demons. However, I sensed a trace of void refinement realm ferocious beasts qi from one of the 3 gates. You must be careful. Wei Xian took out a blank jade slip and imprinted a memory fragment on it. Then, he passed it to Ning Fan. His words stunned Ning Fan. He could hear the hidden meaning in Wei Xian's words. Senior, aren't you going to follow me to get the Star of Heavenly Emperor? I'm not going. Each of the Gate of Life will take a month or even a few months. If you want this fortune, you still need to spend a few more months. During these months, I have to delay it for you. Delay? Delay what? This time, there is another deacon who will go with me to investigate the unusual changes in the rain world. I will stay here to continue the investigation while he will leave this place and send a message to the upper world to ask for reinforcements. With just the 2 of us deacons, we can't compete with the demons for the fortune of the Star Palace. However, logically speaking, we can't let the demons monopolize the fortune. I'm afraid that many of the prodigies of the god race will come here to fight for this star. If they get involved, your chances of getting the Star of Heavenly Emperor will be even slimmer. 6 months. I will try to delay it so that those prodigies of the god race won't be able to arrive here within 6 months. Therefore, whether you can win against those prodigies of the god race or not, you still have to rely on yourself. Wei Xian believed that Ning Fan, the disciple of Old Man Han, would certainly not lose to those prodigies of the god race. Originally, he wanted to stay here. However, he had to leave the Star Palace first for Ning Fan's sake to delay the god race. Before he leaves, he wanted to give Ning Fan one last fortune to help him break through the shackles of his devil cultivation and turn his devil chi into divinity. You need a large amount of corpse chi for your cultivation. However, the corpse chi here is far from enough. Wei Xian gulped down the wine in the purple gourd. His eyes flashed with determination and he took out a damaged and dim formation plate. That formation plate was the immortal formation plate that he used in the past. That formation plate had once made Wei Xian famous in the He Luo star region when he was at the life immortal realm. That formation plate had accompanied Wei Xian in his battles. However, it was sealed after he fell from his immortal realm. When the formation plate appeared, Ning Fan's eyes lit up again. If his magic power reaches the life immortal realm, it would be a piece of cake for him to kill 10 moksha sovereigns with this formation plate. It was a treasure. Break. The immortal formation plate, which was a supreme treasure in Ning Fan's eyes, was shattered by Wei Xian with a single palm strike without hesitation. Following the destruction of the formation plate, a vast corpse chi spread out from the formation plate. The corpses of hundreds of thousands of cultivators were sealed in the formation plate. They were the people who Wei Xian killed when he was at his peak. The total number of these cultivators might not be as many as the number of cultivators in the internal endless sea. However, most of their cultivation bases were above the nascent soul realm. The strongest among them was even at the void fragmentation realm. Wei Xian was drowning his sorrows in wine now. However, he was still a ferocious devil that was not weaker than the old devil in the past. This corpse chi is enough for you to reach the divine transformation realm. Enough. Ning Fan did not know how to express his current feelings. He remembered that Wei Xian treated him well. However, Ning Fan also understood that there was only one real reason why Wei Xian gave him the Tao fruit, heart blood and immortal treasure. He was the disciple of the old devil. And the old devil was Wei Xian's brother. Wei Xian's immortal foundation had been destroyed. It was impossible for him to become an immortal again and he could not meet the old devil. That was why he gave Ning Fan the Tao fruit that allowed him to break through to the third heavenly layer of the void fragmentation realm. He also gave Ning Fan the inheritance of his heart blood. He even destroyed the terrifying immortal treasure that he used to dominate the star region just to let Ning Fan attain the divine transformation realm. I will take my leave first. 6 months. I will try my best to delay for you for 6 months. After 6 months, there might be people from the White Devil sect among the prodigies of the northern sky. It is not suitable for you to have any relationship with the White Devil sect now. Once you obtain the Star of Celestial Emperor, leave immediately. Wei Xian patted his storage pouch and took out a green jade gourd. He then stepped on the giant gourd and left. However, his eyes were no longer hazy. There was no need to use wine to numb the arrogance in his eyes. Ancient Heavenly Court, Han Nietian. Humph, this old man can't miss out on this battle. Ning Fan cupped his fists towards the direction where Wei Xian went. He knew that Wei Xian was rushing for him. Perhaps, the old devil and Wei Xian were like him and Ning Gu. Although they were not blood relatives, they had indelible feelings. Ning Fan's eyes darkened as he recalled what Wei Xian said before he left. The prodigy of the White Devil sect. Why should I hide? Putting away all the distracting thoughts, Ning Fan sat cross-legged and activated the Corpse Devil record to absorb the corpse chi in this place. The terrain of this valley was in line with the formation of corpse chi. One had to admit that Wei Xian had a deep understanding of the Tao of formations. Devil chi can be used to attain the divine transformation realm. Ning Fan's eyes were determined. The surging corpse chi flowed into his body. His thin and pale body began to rot slowly and emitted a foul stench. This was the corpse transformation technique recorded in the Corpse Devil record. Through the corpse transformation, his body would eventually reach the horrifying strength and defense of a corpse devil. Chapter 297. 1 month later, Wu Yan and Shi Ran woke up. A woman who had been unconscious for a long time found herself lying naked in a pool of water when she woke up. No one would be able to calm down. Luckily, after checking her lower body, she found out that something was still there. Only then did she feel relieved. When she looked again, she realized that her severe injuries had already healed. She naturally understood that everything was Ning Fan's doing. Ning Fan had saved her. Of course, he had also seen her naked body and touched every part of her body. Her feelings towards Ning Fan involuntarily became a little complicated. When she found out that the spiritual herbs in her storage pouch were almost used up, she really did not know whether to laugh or cry. Liu Bei, you're the only one in the entire world who would use such precious 10,000 years old spiritual herbs to bathe. However, if it wasn't for you, my injuries wouldn't have healed. If it wasn't for you, I would have already died under that giant bear's paw. Wu Yan put on the clothes that the female corpse gave her. The ones who were guarding her and she ran were the female corpse and Yu Lingkong. Wu Yan recognized the female corpse, but it was Yu Lingkong's first time seeing her. She was as petite as a child, but her cultivation base was at the late divine transformation realm. Wu Yan even faintly felt that her combat power was far above hers. Without a doubt, these two women were Ning Fan's women. The female corpse was certainly not a virgin. Ning Fan had already made love with her when he was in Ning City. Yu Lingkong was not a virgin either. She was almost killed by Ning Fan's cucumber. I am a virgin. Is he reluctant to hurt my innocence, or he doesn't like me? Wu Yan felt a little disappointed. However, when she put on her clothes, she touched her soft breasts with her bare hands. When she saw that the wounds on her breasts had completely healed without leaving any scars, her lonely expression was immediately replaced by embarrassment and annoyance. I remember that when I was unconscious, Liu Bei seemed to have applied medicine on my breasts. He even pinched here and said that it was very beautiful here. She could still feel the warmth of Ning Fan's finger on her breasts that day. All of a sudden, Wu Yan's eyes became blurred. She could not deceive herself. After meeting him again and again, it was impossible for her not to be moved by him. However, when she glanced at the female corpse and Yu Lingkong, she found that both of them were extremely beautiful, which made her feel a little inferior. In the end, I was burdened by my clan and was unable to stay by his side and accompany him for the rest of his life. I am also not little sister Wan, who is proficient in the spirit attachment technique. I am willing to give up everything for him and make him view me as his wife. Perhaps, he doesn't even have me in his heart. The reason why he helped me this time was only because of little sister Wan's request. The female corpse's eyes were calm. She obeyed Ning Fan's order and stayed here to protect the two ladies. As long as they do not run away, she would not do anything to them. Yu Lingkong, on the other hand, did not have such a good temper. She was the dignified female tyrant of the internal sea, but she was ordered by Ning Fan to look after two women in this place. Why? Isn't it just a little thicker and longer cucumber? Fuck me once and I'll be yours. Dream on. If you have the guts, fuck this old lady a second time. See if this old lady won't push you down and fuck you until you don't want it anymore. Although she was cursing and swearing, she did not disobey Ning Fan's orders. You are not allowed to escape. Otherwise, I will make you my punching bag. Yu Lingkong threatened. I won't run away. I'll wait for him here. Wu Yan was wearing good clothes, but she didn't have any intention of leaving. The troublesome one was the little lowly she ran. One could imagine how terrified this inexperienced young mistress would be if she found out that she was lying naked in a certain place one day. Especially when she still had the memory of being fed that aphrodisiac by Ning Fan. I've been tainted. I can't get married anymore. Wah! The little lowly ran out of the cave with her but naked. She had already cried herself silly. If you take one more step, you will die. Just as the little lowly was about to run out of the cave, Yu Lingkong's cold voice resounded. No matter what, Shi Ran was still a little lowly while Yu Linkong was just a little girl. However, the latter's threat brought Shi Ran a bone-chilling aura force. It was as if she took one more step and left the area of the cave, Yu Linkong would ruthlessly destroy her and kill her like an ant. Why, you're also bullying me? You're in cahoots with Liu Bei. Wah! Both of them were late divine transformation realm experts. However, Shi Ran's combat power was weak. As for Yu Linkong, she used to be the strongest expert of the internal sea, a female tyrant. Now, her cultivation base had fallen to the late divine transformation realm. She was not someone who could be defeated by a peak divine transformation realm expert. Shi Ran was innocent, but she was not a fool. She could feel how terrifying Yu Linkong was. She did not dare to run away, and she was also too embarrassed to do so. Just now, she was acting on impulse. Now, she was naked. Even if she was asked to leave the cave, she would not go out. If she was seen by other wild beasts, she really would not be able to live anymore. The only thing she could do was to cry. In her memory, as long as she cried, her clan would immediately send people to protect her. If you cry one more time, I will chop off one of your hands. If you cry 2 more times, I will chop off your other hand. Yu Linkong's tone was still as cold as before. The killing intent that was emitted from her body made Wu Yan, who was a late divine transformation realm expert with strong combat power, feel a little unbearable. Shi Ran became obedient and stopped crying. She just sobbed and her small shoulders trembled. Her lips were squeezed into the shape of earthworms. She trembled uncontrollably, but she did not dare to cry out loud. She obediently returned to the cave and took the dress that the female corpse handed to her. Only then did she feel that her limbs were agile. Her injuries were actually healed. My injuries are actually all healed. Could it be that what Liu Bei fed me was not an aphrodisiac? Pooh! That brat still needs an aphrodisiac to fuck a woman. His bewitching technique is so powerful. He can fuck you with just a single finger. Yu Linkong said with a cold smile. So, he didn't want to defile me. Instead, he wanted to save me. But why did he want to save me? Shi Ran wiped her tears. She no longer felt wronged. Her big eyes were filled with confusion as she looked at Wu Yan. Her gaze made Wu Yan's face turn red. Wu Yan naturally understood that the reason why Ning Fan saved her and Shi Ran was mostly because of her. It was just that Wu Yan couldn't answer Shi Ran's question directly. She couldn't say that even though Liu Bei killed without batting an eyelid and raped countless women, he had given her some face and spared her life. Perhaps, Liu Bei has fallen in love with you. Wu Yan casually replied. What? He actually fell in love with me. I actually didn't know about it. Swish. Shi Ran's small face was completely red. She was inexperienced in the world. Naturally, she had never come into contact with the word love. After being casually mentioned by Wu Yan, she believed that it was true and her heart began to beat wildly. But even if he has fallen in love with me, he can't be so violent. He even scolded me. He was so fierce when he scolded me. He pinched my mouth so hard that it hurt. Besides, he's a demon from the lower world while I'm the princess of the Profound Medicine clan. Father will never agree to our marriage. Shi Ran felt a little wronged. Silly girl. Wu Yan did not know what to say to Shi Ran. I just said it casually, but this naive little girl actually believed it. You're even thinking about getting married? Naked, my. The female corpse took the initiative to speak for the first time. It was as if she was jealous. That's right. That brat has so many beautiful concubines. Why does he have to marry you? Is your Profound Medicine clan that great? Yu Linkong said disdainfully. He has seen my naked body. I can't even get married. If he doesn't marry me, what should I do? Shi Ran retorted. Even if he raped you, he won't marry you if he doesn't want to. What do you have to say? Yu Lingkong said disdainfully. No. He can't not marry me. She ran. This little girl had basically forgotten her original intention. Her original grievances were all gone. At this moment, she only had one thing on her mind. She must make Ning Fan marry her. Otherwise, she would not be able to get married. One had to admit that Shi Ran was the purest girl Ning Fan had ever met. Even Ji He, Mu Weiliang, Mu Xiaohuan and the female corpse were just naive and adorable. However, they knew a little about the matters between men and women. However, this Shi Ran obviously did not understand the matters between men and women at all. A silly Lolita who could treat crude medicinal pills as an aphrodisiac was extremely rare in this materialistic world of cultivation. Moreover, she did not even know that the test to check whether her chastity was still intact was not to check how much of her body had been seen by Ning Fan but the fact that there was a membrane on her lower body. She might not even know that there was such a mechanism in her body. Naked, not, marry, you, he wants to marry me. He, won't, marry, you, he wants to marry me. Just like that, the silly girl Shi Ran quarreled with the female corpse who had extremely low spiritual intelligence in the cave dwelling. There was only one reason for this. Shi Ran's EQ was basically at the same level as the female corpse. How pitiful. There was no need for idle chatter. After 1 month of cultivation, Ning Fan's aura force had greatly changed. Currently, his face was ferocious and terrifying. His white bones were eerily visible. His physical body was festering and rotting. He looked like an ancient corpse that had been lying dormant for many years. However, under his ferocious face, there were already more than 30,000 traces of devil qi surrounding his body. Without a doubt, his devil qi had far surpassed the standard of an early spirit-severing realm expert. Moreover, if he had another 20,000 traces of devil qi, his devil qi would advance to the mid-spirit-severing realm. However, it was a pity that it would be difficult for him to obtain another expert like Wei Xian who had slaughtered his entire life to increase his corpse qi. In order to further improve his devil cultivation, he would probably have to find another way. Just based on this 1 month of cultivation alone, the improvement of his devil cultivation was extremely beneficial. He had cultivated the corpse devil record to the peak of the 4th level in one go. During this period, he had completed the first corpse transformation and obtained the rotten corpse body. The rotten corpse body seemed to have broken through the upper limit of the physical strength of his body. His body technique was only at the 2nd level of Jade Life body technique but he could exert the strength of the 3rd level. Was this the terror of the first corpse transformation? In the past, when the black corpse attacked the city, his strength was already much stronger than other cultivators at the same level even before he completed the 2nd corpse transformation. It must be the special effect of the rotten corpse body. During the 2nd corpse transformation, the black corpse was killed by Ning Fan before he could succeed. This time, Ning Fan was going to complete the 2nd corpse transformation and turn into a corpse devil body. Otherwise, he would have to live with this rotten body without completing the 2nd corpse transformation. If he were to pluck women, the scene would surely be very tasteless. Besides, if he succeeds in the 2nd corpse transformation, Ning Fan's physical body would undergo a great transformation. The 1st corpse transformation would decay his physical body to achieve the effect of breaking through the limits of his physical body. The 2nd corpse transformation would reconstruct his corpse devil body to achieve the effect of improving his defense. The 3rd corpse transformation would be the life of a molded corpse. If he succeeds in the 3rd corpse transformation, Ning Fan would be immortal just by relying on his corpse devil body. Of course, becoming a corpse devil seemed to have gone beyond the scope of life and death. He closed his eyes and immersed himself in the corpse qi. He did not dare to move recklessly even though countless flies were parasitizing his body. The itchiness was unbearable and the stench was overwhelming. However, in order to condense the corpse qi and break through the bottleneck of the 2nd corpse transformation, he had no choice but to endure it. He sat there for 10 days. During these 10 days, his internal organs were filled with corpse maggots. His body was flowing with thick dark red and yellow pus. However, his mind was still clear. If he could not even endure this step, he would not be qualified to advance his strength. Condense. 10 days of waiting was all for this day. Ning Fan suddenly opened his eyes. 31,720 traces of corpse qi around his body soared into the sky. Eventually, the corpse qi condensed into a physical body. In just a breath's time, those maggots and eggs were all killed by the corpse qi and burned into ashes by the black corpse fire. The black corpse fire continued to burn the decaying flesh. All of the decaying flesh turned into ashes while the corpse qi was reconstructing a new physical body. Every step he took left a footprint of the black flame on the ground, causing the grass and trees to sizzle. With every step he took, Ning Fan's qi rose even more. Within the black corpse fire, a naked young man slowly walked out. His physical body was fair and weak, but it was filled with a terrifying destructive power. He was still at the second level of Jade Life realm. However, he had completed 2 corpse transformations and evolved into a corpse devil. He had unlocked the limit of his physical strength, reconstructed his physical body and increased the limit of his defense. Moreover, his defense was unrivaled among those at the same level as him. His physical body was at the second level of Jade Life realm, but his strength and defense were at the standard of the third level. With just his physical body, Ning Fan could fight a late divine transformation realm expert without losing. Condense. Along with the success of the second corpse transformation, Ning Fan condensed a black lotus flame on his palm. This corpse flame had condensed into the third rank of the earth vein demonic flames, the lotus corpse flame. This was an unexpected gain. Now, he possessed 4 types of earth vein demonic flames and 5 types of heavenly frost cold qi. Under the guidance of the lotus corpse flame, the 9 types of spiritual flames and cold qi condensed into a deep black flame. It was no longer gray. This black flame was definitely not weak even among the 6th grade spiritual flames. His demon power was 20,150 units. His devil qi was 31,720 units. His magic power was 5,884 units. With the 3 of them stacked together, Ning Fan's magic power was much stronger than ordinary mid-divine transformation realm experts by a few thousand units. Ning Fan was very satisfied with the improvement of his combat power after cultivating 3 different types of power at the same time. At this moment, another thought arose in his mind. If he could improve all 3 types of power to the mid-divine transformation realm, he was confident that he could fuse them together and advance to the late divine transformation realm. This is the first great gift that Wei Xian has given me. I will never forget his kindness. With a sway of his body, Ning Fan donned his white robes again. He carefully examined the jade bottle in his palm and the blood inheritance. This blood inheritance contained a great amount of power which could greatly improve a cultivator's heart force and sense power. This was the blood inheritance left behind by an immortal life realm formation cultivator using a secret technique before his death. After consuming this blood, my spirit sense will at least break through to the late divine transformation realm. My heart force will also be greatly improved. Moreover, this blood inheritance contains the secret technique of heart formation. Heart formation. Ning Fan's eyes flashed. If he learns the heart formation technique, he would have a lot more means to deal with his enemies. Not only would the power of the mental restriction and demon restriction be stronger, but he would also be able to set up grand formations with just a wave of his hand. As such, the divine transformation realm grand formations that he was proficient in were equivalent to divine transformation realm magic techniques. A mortal void realm grand formation was equivalent to a mortal void realm magic technique. Moreover, if he obtains the heart formation technique, it would be much easier for him to control the third immemorial divine weapon. Ning Fan crushed the jade bottle and consumed the blood. Immediately, he sat in a lotus position and forced the blood into his chest to refine it. All of a sudden, the silver blood turned into thousands of silver threads which engraved complicated and ancient formation patterns on his chest. These formation patterns were the profound secret of the heart formation technique of the He Luo Galaxy's Formation Dao clan. As if he had broken through the shackles, his sea of consciousness was filled with silver light. His spirit sense continued to rise and eventually, he broke through to the late divine transformation realm. Late divine sense, second-level jade life corpse devil body, soul extraction technique and magic power that could rival a late divine transformation realm expert. With these three factors added together, Ning Fan could fight against a peak divine transformation realm expert. Traces of coolness rose in his heart. At this moment, Ning Fan's consciousness was unprecedentedly clear. The questions that he could not figure out in the past seemed to be exceptionally clear now. His eyes seemed to be able to see every trace of formation power between heaven and earth. Taking out the star positioning plate, Ning Fan's gaze fell upon it and he immediately frowned. In the past, he could not see the flaws of this treasure. Now, he could see that the traces of formation power on the star positioning plate were complicated and intertwined with each other. There were many mistakes in it. I didn't expect to be able to see the veins of formation power after obtaining the inheritance of blood. No wonder those geniuses in the Tao of formations are incomparable to ordinary people. However, since I have obtained the inheritance of blood and the secret of He Luo formation, one of the 9 sects, it would be too embarrassing if I lose to the geniuses of the He Luo galaxy in the Tao of formations in the future. After some seclusion, it's about time for me to go back. 1.5 months. I wonder if Wu Yan and Na Shi Ran have woken up. I'm still quite interested in that Tai Xian Genoderma. Now that Senior Wei Xian has intervened, I'm afraid that even if I directly ask Black Bear for the secret treasure, he won't dare to resist. This is Senior Wei Xian's prestige. If I don't borrow it, I'll be a fool. Chapter 298. Hundreds of thousands of skeletons were piled up in the valley, their corpse aura exhausted. A white-robed young man stood among the skeletons. He stamped his foot on the ground, and immediately, a 3,000-meter-tall black mountain rose from the ground. Standing at the peak of the mountain, the young man's eyes shone with a strange light. He directly formed an ancient and mysterious array seal. The array seal was shaky at first, but it gradually became more and more smooth. With the cultivation of the Yao art finger spells, it was not difficult for the youth to practice the formation finger spells. His fingers moved like shadows. Following the change of his finger seal, a vast amount of magical power entered the finger seal, transforming into a green whirlpool in midair. Whirlpools of wind appeared one after another, stirring up the wind and clouds in a mysterious manner. As the whirlpools were connected by the divine sense, a black color spread out. The whirlpools were connected by the divine sense, forming an ink-green wind dragon that was thousands of feet long. This dark green wind dragon roared and shook the mountains and rivers. Its power was comparable to a high-grade transcendent realm spell. However, this spell was not a spell, it was an array spell. It was an array technique that was executed using dermic powers and the heart array secret art. Standing on the peak of the Devil Mountain, Ning Fan looked at the dragon and revealed a satisfied expression. The positions of the 3,000 wind vortexes were actually arranged according to the celestial phenomena and the formation eyes they occupied. This huge ink-green wind dragon was a meteorological formation that borrowed the power of the wind and clouds. It was called the Misty Dragon Sky Dance Formation. Connecting a high-grade divine transformation formation required at least a late-stage divine sense, and activating the formation's power required magic power no weaker than a late-stage divine sense. As Ning Fan made a grabbing motion with his 5 fingers, the spiritual qi of the earth vein within 100,000 li was absorbed into his palm. It turned into a hazy soul of the earth and he swallowed it in one gulp. When the 3 powers were stacked together, it was comparable to the middle stage. After the soul extraction, his magic power skyrocketed to the late stage. As he pointed with his finger, the inky green wind dragon let out a roar and slammed its head into the ground. Immediately, a powerful gust of wind rose up, and numerous dragon-shredding tornadoes swept across the land. Mountains collapsed, the ground caved in, and the grass and trees turned to ash. In just a moment, the area of 5,000 kilometers in the South Island had been razed to the ground by the hurricane. So this is the power of the heart formation. When a formation technique is cultivated to an extremely high realm, its power is not any weaker than an immortal technique. Ning Fan could imagine that if his spirit sense was strong enough and he had enough magic power, he could directly use the immortal void realm technique to flatten the land within 1 million li. Annihilating a mid-grade cultivation country was just a matter of flicking his finger. Unfortunately, formations were restricted by spirit sense and magical power. Currently, he could only cast a high-grade transformation formation at most. Among the many high-grade formations, this Mist Dragon Dance should be the most powerful one, and it was also the best formation to use as a formation technique. Another method. Ning Fan cleared his mind and adjusted his breathing for a while. Then, he dispersed the shadow of the Devil Mountain and returned to his cave dwelling. After more than 10 evasive bodies, he directly crossed the land of more than 100,000 miles of the southern island. With a shake of his body, he appeared in front of the cave abode. The current Ning Fan did not expose any trace of his qi to the outside world. It was not because he was trying to conceal his qi. Instead, it was the effect of his corpse's qi concealing ability after he had successfully undergone the second corpse transformation. Thus, when he appeared outside the abode, even Yu Linkong didn't sense him in the slightest. As soon as he heard about the intense quarrel in the cave, Ning Fan's eyes immediately turned strange. In the cave, Wu Yan sat quietly on the stone bed. Her beautiful eyes were filled with elegance and helplessness. Beside her, the female corpse and Shi Ran were quarreling fiercely. The crux of their dispute was actually whether Ning Fan wanted to marry Shi Ran or not. Yu Linkong could be considered as the oldest person among them. If it was in the past, she who had the title of a female tyrant would certainly be a ruthless and decisive woman who cherished her words like gold. However, ever since she was devoured by her second primordial spirit and turned into a young girl, she was continuously imprisoned and plucked by Ning Fan. Her cold and indifferent personality seemed to have become a little black-bellied. When the two of them were quarreling, she would say some dirty words from time to time to provoke them, causing the two of them to quarrel even more fiercely. They were on the verge of fighting. Liu Bei must marry me. I want to marry him tonight. Shi Ran's small face turned red. I won't marry you. The female corpse refused to give in. Yu Linkong raised her childish face and gave an interesting smile. Then, she interrupted. What's the use of quarreling? Let's have a fight. Whoever wins will have the final say. If there are people who were familiar with Yu Linkong, they would certainly notice that her eyes were filled with ridicule as if she was watching a show. This kind of expression would never appear on the face of the female tyrant in the past. As soon as they heard Yu Linkong's suggestion, the two of them stopped quarreling. The female corpse forcefully sent out a corpse devil palm attack while Shi Ran performed a hand seal. Her palm turned into a vine whip made of demonic power and lashed it at the female corpse. The female corpse was strong at the same level as her while Shi Ran was weak at the same level. As soon as they attacked, they were actually evenly matched. Ning Fan was at a loss. Why did this little lowly Shi Ran want to marry me for no reason? Is my charm really that great? He did not ask her about it. Even if he did, Shi Ran would probably have forgotten the reason why they quarreled. Now, she just did not want to lose to the female corpse. Without saying much, he moved in a flash and stood between the two ladies who were about to fight. He raised both of his palms and blocked their attacks. The palm attack of the female corpse was comparable to the attack of a mid-divine transformation realm expert. It had the strength to uproot mountains. Ordinary mid-divine transformation realm experts would not be able to withstand a single palm attack from the female corpse. This time, however, when their palms came into contact with each other, a tremendous force shook the earth and mountains. Ning Fan did not even take half a step back. His strength was obviously far stronger than the female corpse. Luckily, Ning Fan's control of his strength was already very precise. He did not hurt the female corpse at all. Just this palm attack alone was enough to make the female corpse lose her balance. Ning Fan seized the opportunity and pulled her into his arms. As for Shi Ran's demonic vine whip, Ning Fan just casually sent out a trace of black lotus devil flames with a palm strike. The domineering flames burned that mid-grade divine transformation realm demonic technique into nothingness in just a single blow. Third level of Jade Life Realm? No. This little cucumber is still at the second level of Jade Life Realm. However, his strength is clearly at the third level. How is this possible? Besides, he is clearly standing in front of me. My half-step void refinement realm spirit sense actually couldn't detect any trace of his chi. This isn't an intentional concealment. Instead, all his chi has been absorbed into his body. This is the Tao of body refinement of the corpse devil. Void incineration technique. It directly burned the demonic technique into nothingness. The grade of this flame is at least a great realm higher than the demonic vine. This flame is a 6th grade spiritual fire. Moreover, it is considered as a mid-grade flame among the 6th grade spiritual fire. However, why have I never heard of this flame before? Judging from its appearance, it does look somewhat similar to the 5th grade spiritual fire Lotus Corpse Fire. However, its power is completely different. Both Yu Lingkong and Wu Yan had sharp eyes. They could tell that Ning Fan's casual attack was extraordinary at first glance. Wu Yan did not know Ning Fan's exact background. In her eyes, Ning Fan had always been unfathomable. Thus, she was not that surprised. Yu Lingkong, on the other hand, had seen Ning Fan's current strength from the nascent soul realm. How could her heart remain calm? Only Yu Lingkong and Wu Yan would have such deep thoughts. As for the female corpse and Shi Ran, they did not care about how powerful Ning Fan's attack was at all. Nestling in Ning Fan's arms, the female corpse's face was not pale. It was still pale and cold. However, her emotions were a little chaotic. Ever since she was completely subdued by Ning Fan, she had never had such intimate contact with him. This hug at this moment instantly made her recall the experience when she was forced to have intercourse with Ning Fan in the past. A hint of fear flashed across her empty and crystal-clear eyes. She gently struggled, afraid that Ning Fan would do that to her again. Ning Fan's eyes were filled with emotion. The female corpse relied on him, but she was also afraid of him. This was the reason why he had never touched her again. Letting go of her, Ning Fan stroked the female corpse's black hair with a gentle look in his eyes. Don't worry. I won't hurt you anymore. I won't allow anyone to hurt you. His gaze shifted to the side and fell upon Shi Ran. His eyes instantly turned cold. He did not know why this silly Lolita suddenly wanted to marry him. He also did not know why she quarreled with the female corpse. If it was just a farce, he would at most smile and not care about it. However, just now, Shi Ran wanted to hurt the female corpse. Even if the strength of the two of them were on par with each other and Shi Ran's technique would not really hurt the female corpse, Ning Fan could not tolerate her attack. She is my wife. Anyone who hurts her will die. Shi Ran felt a little wronged. She quarreled with the female corpse. Why did Ning Fan help the female corpse and not her? Moreover, he even looked at her with such a cold expression as if he was looking at a stranger. However, she did not know that if it wasn't for Ning Fan's sake for Wu Yan, he would have killed her just now just because she attacked the female corpse. The female corpse was Ning Fan's reverse scale, be it in this life or his previous life. Without caring about Shi Ran's grievances, Ning Fan's gaze finally fell upon Yu Lingkong. His eyes were as cold as frost. There won't be a next time. This battle was instigated by Yu Lingkong out of boredom. Ning Fan did not care how lofty her identity was in the past or how domineering her personality was. Now that she had fallen into his hands, he would not allow her to cause him any trouble. Humph, Yu Lingkong let out a soft snort. However, she did not dare to say anything else. At this moment, Ning Fan gave her a feeling that he was extremely serious. If it was during normal times, she would joke around with him. However, today, Ning Fan's killing intent was triggered. In the past, Yu Lingkong was just a female corpse. She was Ning Fan's refined corpse and he doted on her a lot. However, she never knew that she actually had such an important position in Ning Fan's heart. With her personality as a female tyrant, she should be displeased to be reprimanded by Ning Fan. However, at this moment, a strange feeling rose in her heart for the first time. Envy. Envy of the female corpse who could make a devil lord who was as cold as ice reveal such a crazy killing intent. In the past, Yu Lingkong only wanted to dominate the internal endless sea. She had never thought about the relationship between a man and a woman. Even when she was plucked by Ning Fan, she just treated it as if she was stabbed by a cucumber. In the past, it was impossible for her to envy a woman who was doted on. Wu Yan gently lowered her head and let out a faint sigh. The first time she felt moved by Ning Fan was when he flew into a rage because of Lu Wan. There was no romance or love. There was only a cold but solemn vow. She is my wife. Whoever hurts her will die. If I can become his wife, it should be a kind of happiness. Wu Yan smiled self-mockingly. She knew that she did not have that honor. Don't anger her, friend. The female corpse gently stood in front of Shi Ran to protect her, fearing that Ning Fan would do something crazy. Shi Ran was dumbfounded. She never expected that the female corpse who had been quarreling with her would be so protective of her. Her small mouth turned into an earthworm and she said in a low voice. I'm sorry. The female corpse shook her head and forced a smile. Don't quarrel, for fun. Then, she tilted her head and pleaded for the first time. Don't hurt her, okay? No. Okay. Ning Fan's expression was filled with sadness and pity. He stroked the black hair of the female corpse. Don't hurt her. You were such a fool in your previous life. You fell in love with a butterfly and gave up everything for it. You are such a fool in this life. You gave up your innocence to save a young man at the end of his road. Even if you turn into a corpse, give up your spiritual intelligence, shatter your sea of consciousness and lose your memories, you will still forgive your enemies and not hurt them. You have embroidered a pair of butterflies flying together. You have forgotten everything but you still remember that you are waiting for someone. You are waiting for him to transform from a butterfly into a human. You are waiting for him to marry you and leave behind the palace guarding sand for him. You still remember all these but you don't remember that the butterfly is me. There was a moment of silence in the cave. Everyone had their own thoughts. Finally, Ning Fan turned his gaze to Shi Ran and said. As you can see, I have this kind of personality that kills without blinking an eye. Do you still want to marry me? No. I don't think so. Shi Ran shook her head vigorously. She was frightened. This ambiguous answer made Wu Yan so angry that she laughed. This silly girl, she thought that Liu Bei liked her. Very well. It's right that you don't want to. I have something to ask you. That day, did you barge into the demon bear's lair just for this great mysterious Ganoderma? Great mysterious Ganoderma. You said this is the great mysterious Ganoderma. As soon as the topic of spiritual medicine was brought up, Shi Ran immediately wiped away her tears and revealed an interested expression. She no longer looked weak and delicate. Instead, she looked at Ning Fan disdainfully. Could it be that this isn't the great mysterious Ganoderma? Ning Fan's eyes turned cold. What he wanted to know was the true use of this Ganoderma. You are a fifth revolution pill master, right? Shi Ran crossed her arms in front of her chest and gently sniffed the Ganoderma with her nose. Then, she said confidently. I can't be wrong. You should be a low-grade 5th revolution pill master. Your medicine soul isn't weak. What? This young man is a 5th revolution pill master. Yu Lingkong was astonished while Wu Yan covered her mouth in surprise. Yu Lingkong shook her head in disbelief. After all, it was much harder to nurture a 5th revolution pill master than a divine transformation realm cultivator. His bone age was less than 400 years old and his cultivation base was at the divine transformation realm. His combat strength was heaven-defying and his pill refinement technique was also at the 5th revolution. Wasn't this already heaven-defying? One should know that even a female tyrant like Yu Lingkong would have to show some respect to a 5th revolution pill master. Even though Wu Yan was surprised, she completely believed Shi Ran's words. She knew that Shi Ran, this little girl, had a delicate personality and a kind heart. She was inexperienced in the world. However, this little girl was the princess of the Profound Medicine clan. She possessed the purest bloodline in the history of the clan. The Profound Medicine clan was a great clan of pill refinement. All of the members of the clan had the demon body of spiritual medicine. They were different from ordinary clans that gained sentience from plants and trees. The old ancestor of the Profound Medicine clan was a spiritual medicine that was cultivated by a pill refinement ancestor in the ancient times. That old ancestor of the Profound Medicine clan had the body of a spiritual medicine. Besides, he was the disciple of the pill refinement ancestor. He was born with innate talent in the Tao of pill refinement. He had learned all the secrets of the 3 Pure Ones pill condensation from the ancestor of the clan. Even though most of the pill refinement techniques of the Profound Medicine clan had been passed down from generation to generation, no clan in the entire demon spirit land would be willing to offend this clan. After all, it was hard to guarantee that they would not need pills one day and ask for help from the clan. As the little princess of the Profound Medicine clan, she had the medicinal veins of a royal bloodline. Her pure and innocent personality made her extremely suitable to study pill refinement techniques. She was not good at combat, but her pill refinement techniques had already reached the peak of the 5th revolution. This Shi Ran is indeed not simple. She could see through my pill refinement techniques with just a glance. This is something that ordinary people would not be able to do. Besides, I have never heard of the 2 words medicine soul that this lady mentioned before. From a certain point of view, his pill refinement techniques that he learned halfway were far inferior to Shi Ran's. You're right. My pill refinement techniques have indeed reached the 5th revolution. However, what does this have to do with me not recognizing this leaf? Didn't your teacher teach you before? When a spiritual medicine reaches a certain grade, it will also know how to disguise itself. If you want to see the true appearance of a spiritual medicine, you will need to use your medicine soul. This is not the great profound Ganoderma. This is the star-tempering purple Ganoderma. It is said that as long as you consume a piece of the leaf, you can refine the star of a fiend god. If you consume a mouthful of the Ganoderma's flesh, you can absorb the star power to refine your body and use the starlight to heal your injuries. Moreover, you will have the chance to comprehend the power of the starlight. Star-tempering purple Ganoderma. Wu Yan and Yu Lingkong obviously had heard of the famous item before. Both of their beautiful faces were filled with astonishment. Even Ning Fan's face was filled with surprise. However, his surprise soon turned into joy. Even though he could not see through the true appearance of this great profound Ganoderma, he had also heard of the famous star-tempering purple Ganoderma. A piece of the leaf could refine the star of a fiend god. A mouthful of the Ganoderma's flesh could absorb the star power to refine your body and improve your body refinement realm. Moreover, during the process of refining your body with the star power, you would even have the chance to comprehend the ethereal and vast power of the starlight. Rumor has it that only heavenly demons who have broken through to the void fragmentation realm could control the power of the starlight. Not only could the star power be integrated into magic techniques, but it was also the best power for healing injuries. Even the serious injuries left by heavenly demons during fights could be fully healed by the starlight. Ning Fan's eyes were deeply fixed on the female corpse at the side. His expression was filled with excitement. If I can obtain the star-tempering purple Ganoderma, can I use the power of the starlight to heal the shattered sea of consciousness of the female corpse and help her recover her memories? I must have this Ganoderma. Ning Fan's eyes flashed with determination as if he was ready to ask the black bear for the Ganoderma immediately. However, before he could move, Shi Ran's eyes suddenly flashed with a cunning look. Do you know the real way to consume the star-tempering purple Ganoderma? The real way? Ning Fan was stunned. Could it be that the star-tempering purple Ganoderma is not eaten raw like what the rumors say? Of course. Judging from your expression, you haven't even heard of Medicine Soul. Naturally, you can't truly utilize the power of the Ganoderma. Your teacher is really irresponsible. He didn't teach you anything at all. What method? Why should I tell you? Just now, you were being fierce to me and even bullied me. If you want to know how to consume the Ganoderma, you have to make me happy first. Shi Ran raised her head proudly. Humph. Weren't you very fierce just now? Let's see if you still dare to be fierce to me in the future. Chapter 299. Shi Ran raised her face and waited for Ning Fan to beg her. She was thinking about how she could forgive him. Should she ask him to massage her back, legs and shoulders? Should she ask him to carry her and run 100 laps around the island? She was waiting for Ning Fan to give in. However, what she got was his teasing expression. As long as it was not related to the safety of the female corpse, he did not care about Shi Ran's words. You want me to make it up to you? Of course. You stole 1 billion immortal jade from me and all my treasures. I haven't even settled the score with you and I even married you. How dare you be so mean to me? If I don't take the opportunity to vent my anger, I'll be too stupid. Shi Ran raised the storage pouch on her waist to express her protest. If you want to know the real method of consuming the star-tempering purple Zoisha, please make me happy first and I will tell you. Otherwise, I won't tell you and make you anxious. Without the right method, at least 90% of the medicinal power of the Zoisha will be wasted. I see. It's wrong to waste it. Let me see what the real method is, Ning Fan smiled. However, when his smile fell into Wu Yan's and Yu Linkong's eyes, their expressions immediately changed. Yu Linkong had already witnessed the power of the mind-reading technique. As for Wu Yan, many years had passed since the incident in the scripture tower. She finally vaguely guessed that the strange conversation in the scripture tower was probably some kind of mind-reading technique. Her speculation was confirmed by Ning Fan's smile. After activating the yin-yang locket, the power of heaven and earth would be known by Ning Fan and the heavens. So, the real method of consuming the star-tempering purple Zoisha is to turn the medicine soul into jade, break the disguise of the spiritual herbs and burn it 9 times. Moreover, it needs a medicine slave to quench the poison of the Zoisha before it can unleash its true medicinal power. Medicine slave, huh? Ning Fan's eyes flickered and muttered to himself. Of course, he knew what a medicine slave was. Some pill refinement forces would keep servants as medicine slaves. They would cripple their meridians and feed them poison since they were young to increase their poison resistance. Medicine slaves were not only responsible for testing the herbs but also extracting the poison. If the poison of the spiritual herbs was difficult to be removed, they would order the medicine slaves to consume the medicine first and then quench the poison through them. It was a very cruel thing. Medicine slaves had to be at least at the vein-opening realm. It would be lucky if 1 out of 100 people could survive the first time they took poison. In the future, if they continued to consume poison, more survivors would die. In the end, tens of thousands of lives would be consumed before one person qualified. This person, in the end, had to have his immortal meridian crippled. Otherwise, after taking the medicine that was tempered with poison, not only would he absorb the poison, he might even absorb the useful parts, wasting the medicinal strength. When the medicinal energy was released and the toxicity was removed, someone would use a secret method to extract the medicinal energy and recondense it into medicinal herbs. In order to obtain the full medicinal power of the star-tempering purple zoysia, one must possess a medicine soul, a medicine slave, and a secret technique. Ning Fan had already learned the exact secret method from Shiran. If it was a medicine slave, he naturally couldn't specially raise one. If it really didn't work, then he could just use himself as a medicine slave and quench the poison. The only problem was his medicine soul. Do you want to know the real method of consuming the Ganoderma? Shiran naturally did not know that Ning Fan already knew everything. Actually, I know a little about how to consume the star-tempering purple zoysia. Turning the medicine soul into jade, breaking the disguise of the spirit medicine, refining the medicine body with fire, and finally quenching the medicine slave with poison. Is that right? How do you know all this? This is the method recorded in the 3 Pure Ones remnant records of our profound medicine clan. Only members of the royal blood clan know about it. How do you know about it? Shiran held her chin with her small hand and shook her head with a puzzled look. It seems like you are very powerful. You even know about this method. I shouldn't have underestimated you. Yu Lingkong pouted her lips in annoyance. Wu Yan, on the other hand, found it both funny and infuriating. They naturally understood that Shiran had been tricked by Ning Fan's mind-reading technique. What is a medicine soul? A medicine soul is a soul light that is condensed from medicine qi. Strange. You know the method of consuming the star-tempering purple zoysia, but why don't you know about a medicine soul? Try forming this hand seal. Shiran was even more puzzled. She made a hand seal and a trace of dark green soul light flashed on the tip of her finger. This is soul light. You should have it too. Probably. Shiran was not sure. Ning Fan formed the same hand seal. A trace of faint green light flashed on the tip of his finger. However, it shattered and disappeared immediately. You haven't condensed your soul light before? Shiran seemed to have seen something strange. She held her chin and walked in circles around Ning Fan. Her eyes were glowing with a dark green soul light, peeking at the color of Ning Fan's medicine soul. Strange. He can't condense his soul light, but his medicine soul has reached the green grade and he can concoct early 5th revolution pills. This doesn't make sense. Shiran could not understand it. If an ordinary person does not cultivate their medicine soul, they would not be able to attain the 5th revolution pill refinement realm even if they have divine intent. However, she did not know that Ning Fan's pill refinement technique came from an inheritance. His soul was also tainted with green medicine qi at that time and turned into a green-grade medicine soul. With such a medicine soul, the limit of concocting a low-grade 5th revolution pill was also the reason why Ning Fan could not concoct pills of a higher grade. Didn't your teacher help you to refine your medicine soul? Did he teach you about the 5th revolution, 6th revolution, 6th revolution and 7th revolution, purple grade? No. Ning Fan wanted to say that he did not have a teacher. However, after thinking for a while, he remembered that the old devil was his master while ancient chaos and Zido could be considered as half of his masters. Thus, he could not bring himself to say that. Ancient chaos was already dead and Zido did not know about it. As for the old devil, he was just a 4th revolution pill refinement realm cultivator who was not suitable for pill refinement. How could he teach me how to refine my medicine soul? What the old devil taught me was to snatch pills when I need them. Your teacher is really irresponsible. Shiran seemed to have forgotten that Ning Fan had scolded her before and began to defend him. Ning Fan activated his mind-reading technique and took the opportunity to read through Shiran's mind. He completely knew the method to condense a medicine soul. However, after knowing the method, he could not help but feel a little speechless. The condensation of a medicine soul required a 5th revolution pill master to take the initiative to separate a trace of soul light and use a secret technique to help a peak 4th revolution pill master refine their soul. Only then would they have a chance to condense a medicine soul. To an ordinary person, there was only a 1% chance of condensing a medicine soul. However, to someone like Ning Fan who already had a medicine soul, he only needed the help of another 5th revolution pill master by separating a trace of soul light, and he would be able to easily awaken his medicine soul. He already knew the method, but he would definitely need Shiran's help. After all, there was no other 5th revolution pill master in this place. Or he could directly ask Shiran to purify the purple Zoisha's poison. However, it was still asking her for help. Why not just ask her to condense a medicine soul? Do I still have to make this little girl happy in the end? Ning Fan was speechless. He had never asked anyone for help before, but today, he had no choice but to ask someone for help in order to heal the female corpse. What do I have to do to appease your anger and help me condense my medicine soul? There's no need for that. My anger has already dissipated. Seeing how unlucky you are to be tricked by an irresponsible master, I feel sorry for you. Anyway, you already have a medicine soul. You just need to awaken it. It's not difficult. However, in order to awaken your medicine soul, you need some soul-refining sand. I know a place in the Star Sea that has this kind of sand. I'll bring you there to get some. The little lowly who was bullied turned into a warm-hearted one. She pulled Ning Fan's hand and walked out of the cave. Ning Fan's expression softened slightly. This Shiran doesn't seem to be as loathsome as she looks. When he turned his head and saw the blank expression on the female corpse's face, he felt a sharp pain in his heart. I must cure Whaleyang, you guys rest here for a while. I'll be back soon. Ning Fan's eyes flashed with determination. He pulled Shiran into his arms and summoned his Fuli demon wings. With a single step, he turned into a trace of purple smoke and drifted 70,000 li away. Wu Yan had just recovered from her injuries. Her complexion was still not good. It was fine for her to rest. With Wei Xian's reputation and the protection of the female corpse and Yu Lingkong, no one would dare to cause trouble in the cave. I don't like owing favors. However, I owe you one. Ning Fan's tone was flat. No. There's no need for that. You've also saved my life before. That day, I even wrongly accused you of giving me an aphrodisiac. It's my fault too. Even though I'm a little stupid and I don't know much about adult matters, I still know how to repay a debt of gratitude. Even though you're a thief who stole all of my treasures, I don't blame you. However, you're not allowed to be mean to me in the future. Also, can you let go of me? I'm shy. I can fly by myself. Shiran's heart raced as she was hugged by Ning Fan. It was her first time being hugged by a man when she was conscious. It made her feel extremely embarrassed. It will be dangerous for you to fly by yourself. This sea of stars isn't peaceful at all. As soon as Ning Fan's voice fell, 7 reckless nascent soul realm demonic beasts turned into rays of silver light and leaped out of the sea, attacking Ning Fan. Among the 7 demonic beasts, there was even one that had already taken half a step into the divine transformation realm. You're courting death. Without saying anything, Ning Fan directly pointed his finger at the ground. 7 rays of black sword light shot out from his finger. With a flap of his wings, he teleported 70,000 li away again. The 8 nascent soul realm demonic beasts where he was previously standing were all cut into 2 halves from their waists. Their blood dyed the silver seawater red. So powerful. Shiran's mouth was agape. Out of the 8 demonic beasts, one of them was a half-step divine transformation realm demonic beast. Even if she was a late divine transformation realm expert, she would need to use her demonic techniques to kill it. However, Ning Fan just casually shot out 8 rays of black sword light and easily killed them. With such clean and efficient methods, Ning Fan probably could not even slow down his footsteps if he was not a wild beast. Where is the soul-refining sand? Let me think. It should be in this direction. It's 120 million li away. That area of the sea should be 1 million zhang below the seabed. There should be soul-refining sand there. I won't be mistaken. Shi Ran said with certainty. 1 million zhang under the seabed, huh? If we enter the sea, I'm afraid that there will be even more demonic beasts attacking us. Hold on to me tightly. Don't take even half a step away from me. Ning Fan looked at the direction and flew away. 6 days later, he appeared at the sea area that Shi Ran pointed out. With a flash of purple smoke, he dived into the sea. As soon as he dived into the deep sea, countless demonic beasts immediately attacked him. All of them were transformed from star spirits. Among them, there were even a few early divine transformation realm wild beasts. This made Ning Fan frown slightly. He held Shi Ran with one of his hands and touched his glabella with the other, taking out the Separation Slayer sword. All the demonic beasts that blocked his way were killed with a single slash of his sword. Moreover, a mid-divine transformation realm wild beast was instantly killed by Ning Fan's sword because his speed was too fast and his Separation Slayer sword was too sharp. Along the way, Ning Fan's path was dyed with blood. In the end, almost all the demonic beasts within 1,000 li dared to attack him. However, there were still a large number of demonic beasts watching him from afar. Once they have the chance, they would attack Ning Fan. Shi Ran was already stunned. At this moment, Ning Fan gave her the feeling that no one could stop him. Whoever dares to stop him would die. She immediately realized that Ning Fan had already shown mercy to them even though he occasionally killed people when he was traveling around the 9 divisions in the second world. If he really wants to kill, the entire Sea of Stars would be destroyed. Ning Fan's appearance in the underwater world that was shining with silver light frightened all the fish in the sea. Standing on the fine silver sand at the bottom of the sea, Ning Fan asked. Is the entire sea of sand made up of soul-refining sand? Of course not. There is only 1 grain of soul-refining sand in 100 million grains of sea sand. It's not easy to find all of them. If I let you look for them, you will need at least 3 years to gather half a bag. However, if it's me, I can gather half a bag of soul-refining sand in 10 days at most. However, when I'm collecting the soul-refining sand, I have to use a secret technique to activate my spirit sense. I can't defend myself against external attacks. You must protect me. In the past, when I was collecting the star sand, there were always a lot of people protecting me. Shi Ran took out a small cloth pouch and stared at the demonic beasts who were watching them from afar. She was a little scared. With me here, no one can stop you from obtaining the soul-refining sand. Ning Fan let go of Shi Ran and took a step forward. His black sword sense was like a drop of thick ink that spread across the Sea of Stars. In an instant, it dyed the entire sea area within 30,000 li. Under the eruption of his sword sense, hundreds of thousands of harmonious spirit realm and gold core realm demonic beasts who were spying on Ning Fan within 30,000 li were slashed into meat paste by his sword sense. Their miserable cries scared countless other demonic beasts away. If you don't scram, you will die. A wave of majestic aura of ancestral blood spread out from Ning Fan's left eye. Under his gaze, countless demonic beasts retreated one after another. If you don't scram, you will die. At this moment, Ning Fan felt like he had returned to the demon sinister forest. The killing intent in his eyes was like a piece of ice that would never melt for 10,000 years. Under his gaze, all the demonic beasts began to instinctively fear him. All of them retreated 30,000 li away from him. It was as if they were not the ferocious beasts but Ning Fan was the ferocious beast that craved blood. 1 day, 2 days. 9 days later, Shi Ran had already collected a small half of the pouch of soul sand. In at most half a day, she would be able to collect enough soul sand to awaken Ning Fan's medicine soul. On the 10th day, a large group of sea beasts rushed towards them in an orderly manner from afar. There were also countless ancient chariots that shone with silver radiance. When the group of ferocious beasts sensed that there were countless beast corpses in this place from afar, all of them were shocked. When they realized that there were only 2 of them within 30,000 li, a furious and arrogant voice resounded from the center of the chariot. It carried the aura force of a late divine transformation realm cultivator. Which demon is it? How dare you stop my vanguard army and create trouble in my sea of stars? Humph! Kill him! Chapter 300. Ning Fan's eyes darkened when he saw the orderly formation of demonic beasts. There were 100,000 core beasts leading the way, and they were like locusts passing by. In the middle, there were 5,000 nascent soul beasts protecting them. In the middle of the nascent soul beasts, there were 13 silver chariots that were flickering with lightning. At the front of each chariot, there was a divine transformation realm cultivator wearing a star armor. Their bodies were silver and illusory, but they were emitting a great pressure. The 13 star-soul desolate beasts were all in human form. This human's appearance hadn't changed completely. There were still remnants of the beast's body, but it couldn't be underestimated. 7 were in the early stage, 5 in the middle stage, and 1 in the late stage. The one who said that he would kill Ning Fan was the late divine transformation realm cultivator. With a command, the first 5,000 sea beasts split the waves and charged forward with strange roars. Demon Army. Ning Fan's eyes turned cold. These sea beasts that are charging at the front lines are definitely not random demons. Instead, they are a well-trained demon army. Even though Ning Fan did not know much about the Star Sea, he could guess that the purpose of the sudden appearance of such a massive demon army was definitely not simple. However, no matter what the sea beast's intentions were, they couldn't stop Shi Ran from collecting the soul-refining sand. Die! Ning Fan took a step forward. His great force turned into a sword and his sword light swept across the area. The 5,000 pill beasts that bore the brunt of his attack were all slashed into a mist of blood in an instant. Stepping on the momentum and killing a gold core realm cultivator in an instant. Such a shocking technique shocked the demon army and they stopped 1,000 li away from Ning Fan. A heaven-shaking killing intent spread out from Ning Fan's body. Under this killing intent, all beasts except for wild beasts would be fearless. A foreign soul formation cultivator. We are no match for them. Desolate General, please come out of the formation. A desolate general was a desolate beast demon general. Since he was a soul formation cultivator, he was not someone that could be defeated by a golden core cultivator. This was not something that could be defeated with numbers. He's just an early stage soul formation cultivator, what are you panicking about? I, Shueku, can kill this person in less than 10 breaths. Among the 13 silver chariots, the early deity transformation cultivator of the 11th chariot snorted coldly. With a flick of his reins, the chariot transformed into a streak of silver light and flew out of the formation. It was an old man in a suit of star armor. The old man stood at the front of the carriage, his presence like the clouds. His fingers formed a seal as though he was casting some kind of Yao art. Once this technique was activated, the 5,000 sea beasts lost their lives, and immediately, countless bloody mists burst out. In the sea of silver starlight, the bloody mists fused one after another, and in the end, they evolved into 50 huge bloody figures. Each of them had 3 heads and 4 arms, but they had no faces or noses. Each of the blood shadows let out a strange roar and emitted the chi of a peak nascent soul realm cultivator. The 50 blood shadow nascent souls were fearless. They turned into bloodlines and flashed towards Ning Fan. It's the blood shadow technique. This was General Shue's strongest technique. I didn't expect to see General Shue in action before the destruction of Star Island. How fortunate. Ha! This blood shadow art is the hardest to block. If he doesn't know how to block it, that brat will be in big trouble. Each of the demon beasts revealed looks of respect and excitement. Eventually, all of their expressions turned ferocious and they stared at Ning Fan coldly as if they were looking at a dead man. As for Shi Ran, who was immersed in collecting the soul sand, as soon as she sensed the incoming blood shadow, she immediately reminded Ning Fan with a nervous expression. Be careful. This was the blood shadow art. Through the manipulation of blood energy, the transformation of dead spirits, and the use of blood shadows to injure others. These blood shadows must never be killed. Once they are killed, they will continue to split and merge. In the end, they can even turn into blood shadows that are stronger than the divine transformation realm. At this moment, she was using a secret technique and could not move at all. She needed Ning Fan's protection. She was bound to him for good or bad. Thus, she was naturally worried about his safety. Her reminder inevitably distracted her. Under the backlash of the secret technique, she immediately felt a sharp pain in her sea of consciousness. Her small face turned pale and she did not dare to speak anymore. Blood shadow, huh? It doesn't even take 10 breaths of time to kill me. What a shameless boast. Die. The purple star in Ning Fan's left eye flashed. He had already seen through the blood shadow art. He activated his great momentum and took 3 consecutive steps forward. After taking those 3 steps, his great momentum turned into a sword and exploded into countless sword lights. Before the 50 blood shadows could get close to them, they were already slashed by the sword lights. They let out shrill screams and exploded into blood mist. However, after they exploded, the 50 clouds of blood mist fused again and turned into 5 early divine transformation realm blood shadows. General Shui sneered. Brat, your woman has already warned you to be careful of my blood shadow art. You must never kill them. However, you didn't listen to her. Now, you are going to suffer the consequences of your own actions. Before General Shui could finish his words, his smile suddenly froze. Ning Fan's steps were as smooth as flowing water. He did not stop and continued to take the remaining 6 steps. With Ning Fan's current cultivation base, he could even kill an ordinary divine transformation realm expert, let alone these illusionary blood shadows. At the moment when the sword light rose, the 5 divine transformation realm blood shadows that had yet to fully materialize dispersed. They could no longer fuse back together and were completely turned into ashes by the sword light. When the blood shadows were destroyed, the old man's mind was greatly injured. His body became unstable and he almost fell off the silver carriage. His face was filled with shock. 9-step sword art, killing divine transformation realm experts. You are just an early divine transformation realm cultivator. How can you have such strength? Wait, your face. Only then did the old man named Xueku notice that Ning Fan's appearance was exactly the same as the portrait of the early divine transformation realm expert that the 4 saint demons had warned them to pay attention to before they left the camp. In the beginning, they were too far away and could not see clearly. However, as Ning Fan approached them, not only did Xueku recognize Ning Fan, even the late divine transformation realm experts who were sitting at the center of the army changed their expressions. Xueku, retreat quickly. Retreat quickly. If you don't retreat now, you will die. However, don't you think it's a little too late to retreat now? Ning Fan's figure flashed, turning into purple smoke and disappearing. At the next moment, he directly appeared on the silver carriage. With a slash of his sword light, Xueku's 3-layered star armor was pierced through by Ning Fan's sword. With a wave of his sword, Xueku's corpse was cut into 2 pieces. His human form faded away, revealing 2 demon corpses that were 6,000 zhang in size. Demon core. It was a good item to increase one's cultivation level. Demon corpse. It was the best material for refining treasures. Standing on the silver carriage, Ning Fan's eyes flashed with cold light and said coldly. Kill me in 10 breaths. Why would I need a single breath to kill you? His words were like a sharp red sword that pierced into the ears of each of the sea beasts, turning into clanking sword cries that stung their eardrums. Each of the sea beasts widened their eyes in disbelief. General Xue Ku, who was famous in the Star Sea for his blood shadow technique, was actually killed by Ning Fan in just a single blow. What they found the most unbelievable was that they actually met a ruthless person whom the four saint demons had especially warned them to be careful of when they were still 120 million li away from the Star Island. The terrifying early divine transformation realm expert who had escaped from the hands of the fourth saint demon, Kuan-Mo, was right in front of their eyes. He had killed a divine transformation realm expert with his sword. Other than the sound of the ocean currents, there was only the sound of people inhaling cold breaths. However, right after that, a wild and ferocious laughter which carried the aura force of a late divine transformation realm expert broke the silent atmosphere. So it's you. You are the person whom King Kuan-Mo ordered to kill. Alright, I am the desolate general of the Southern Star Sea's vanguard, Chu Feng. I will kill you and make a contribution first. Get into formation and kill the enemies. As soon as Chu Feng, who was a late divine transformation realm expert, gave the order, 100,000 sea beasts immediately split into different formations. Each of them exerted their demonic strength and formed a joint formation. Countless traces of silver formation light shot out from the bodies of the 100,000 sea beasts, forming a massive light screen which protected the demon army. It prevented Ning Fan from using the speed of the golden flame chariot, which even King Kuan-Mo was afraid of, to charge through the formation and kill the general. This military formation was a human formation. It was a grand formation that was set up by humans. The well-trained formation light was already a late divine transformation realm formation. Not only was it strong enough to defend against any attacks from ordinary mid-divine transformation realm experts, but it was also strong enough to launch an attack that was comparable to the formation light of a mid-divine transformation realm expert. Kuan-Mo. A human formation. Ning Fan's eyes lit up. In the past, he had wanted to train the three Black Devil divine armies to reach the level where they could form a human formation. However, due to various reasons, he had no choice but to temporarily give up on that idea. If these 100,000 sea beasts were scattered, it would not take much effort for Ning Fan to kill all of the Gold Core Realm and Nascent Soul Realm cultivators. However, these sea beasts formed a joint formation. One of them defended while the other attacked. It was as if the attacks and defenses of the 100,000 sea beasts had been condensed into one. In order to defeat an army, one must first break the formation. As Chu Feng waved the flag, the 100,000 sea beasts launched their attacks at the same time. 100,000 scattered attacks were condensed into 100,000 identical silver arrows under the effect of the formation light. The rain of arrows pierced through the air and whistled through the air. Each of the silver arrows could penetrate the defense of a peak Gold Core Realm expert. When 100,000 of them combined into one, even a mid-divine transformation realm expert would find it hard to resist. Incinerate. Ning Fan did not even look at the rain of swords. He opened his mouth and breathed out a black flame. The black flame took the shape of a lotus. As soon as it dispersed, it immediately turned into a black sea of flames that stretched for 1,000 li. At the moment when the flames appeared, the sea waves boiled and evaporated. The 100,000 arrows could not pass through the barrier of flames at all and were all burnt to ashes. After that, Ning Fan pointed his finger again. The sea of flames split into nearly 2,000 black lotuses. They bombarded the formation light from different directions and exploded. The places where the black lotuses exploded were all the formation eyes of the mid-grade divine transformation realm formation light. The black lotuses moved and the formation light was shattered. 100,000 sea beasts suffered a backlash when their formation was broken. Under the influence of the lotus flames, 70,000 Pill Core realm beasts were easily burnt to ashes by the black flames. Their screams were deafening. Ning Fan did not chase after them after destroying the formation. Instead, he leaped down from the silver carriage and returned to Shiran's side. His intention to protect them was clearly exposed. 70% of the vanguard troops were already lost before the battle even started. At this moment, Chu Feng's expression changed for the first time. Before the battle, the third Saint Demon Ape Demon Yuan Fong had reminded Chu Feng that this vanguard was only to probe the situation of the Star Island. If they encounter the old bear's attack, they should avoid it as much as possible. If they encounter Ning Fan's attack, they should escape as much as possible. Chu Feng was respectful towards Old Bear, but he looked down on Ning Fan. Although this person was able to escape from Devil Kuan's pursuit, it was only because of the Golden Flame Chariot's speed. Without the Golden Flame Chariot, this person was just a weak early-stage Divine Transformation Realm cultivator, not worth mentioning. That was why Chu Feng still dared to give the order to kill Ning Fan even after knowing his identity. In Chu Feng's opinion, the mid-grade Divine Transformation Realm formation that was set up by the military formation was enough to defend against his sneak attack. As for a mere early Divine Transformation Realm cultivator, he certainly could not withstand a single attack from 100,000 sea beasts. However, his understanding of the style of music was completely wrong. Ning Fan had killed Xue Ku with just a single strike. A single streak of black flames had incinerated 100,000 arrows. It had even seen through the 2,000 formation cores of the mid-grade soul formation with a single glance. It had destroyed the formation with a single strike and extinguished 70,000 sea beasts. Chu Feng asked himself, if it was him, facing 100,000 demon army alone, under the tight formation of the other party, he would not be able to gain any advantage. This general has underestimated you. With 70,000 casualties, they could slay the vanguard. Unless I take your head to atone for my crime, I will be severely punished. You must die. Let's attack together. This time, Chu Feng did not send ordinary sea beasts to attack. The battle formation had been broken, and they had lost 70,000 sea beasts. The remaining 30,000 sea beasts were mostly injured, and it was difficult for them to continue fighting. They no longer had the slightest attitude of underestimating their enemy. 12 silver chariots rushed out of the formation. 12 Divine Transformation Realm experts surrounded Ning Fan. They actually wanted to eliminate him in a battle of numbers. The 9-step sword form technique was daunting, and the black flame was terrifying. Even Chu Feng did not have the confidence to defeat Ning Fan if he were to face him alone. He no longer dared to underestimate Ning Fan. Moreover, Chu Feng and the others had already noticed that Ning Fan was protecting Shiran. Hence, the direction of their attacks gradually shifted towards Shiran, trying to distract Ning Fan. 12 Divine Transformation Realm experts. Kun Mo's subordinates indeed like to win with numbers. They even like to bully women. However, do you think you're the only one with more people? Puppets, get into formation. Ning Fan patted his storage pouch. With a flick of his sleeve, 12 spiritual puppets appeared in front of him. Of the 10 black vipers, 5 were at the early stage, 4 were at the middle stage, and 1 was at the late stage. A stone warrior and a black dragon. Out of the 12 refined corpses, only Soldier Stone still had intelligence. Although Soldier Stone's battle prowess was negligible, he was still a puppet with complete intelligence, so he still had many uses. For example, right now. What's going on? The moment Stone Soldier was summoned, he felt his scalp go numb. He knew that Ning Fan was a troublemaker, but he did not know how big the trouble he had caused this time was. Far away in the Sea of Stars, the auras of countless ferocious beasts lay dormant. Nearby, there were 12 soul formation cultivators besieging him, and one of them was even at the late stage. However, when Shi Bing turned around, he was even more surprised. On his side, not only did he have a monster like Ning Fan, there was also a late Divine Transformation Realm Lolita who seemed to be unable to leave for the time being, and 11 spiritual puppets and refined corpses. The strength of each of the 11 puppets was not weaker than his own. In fact, the middle stage and late stage puppets were several times stronger than him. Of course, it had its own sentience. In a battle, it would have an advantage over a puppet without sentience. But what shocked Stone Warrior the most was undoubtedly the Black Dragon refined corpse. Half-step void refinement realm. The enemy was very strong, but his side was even stronger. Chu Feng and the other 12 soul formation realm cultivators were already terrified before they even got into formation. This fear was caused by the appearance of the half-step void refinement realm Black Dragon refined corpse. Half-step void refinement realm. Not good. Run. If Ning Fan was alone, Chu Feng and his group of troublemakers would also dare to fight him even if he was at the peak divine transformation realm. However, the half-step void refinement realm was different from the peak divine transformation realm. Even though it was just half a step to the void refinement realm, it was a height that ordinary divine transformation realm cultivators could not reach. The difference between them was like heaven and earth. The vanguard had lost without a doubt. However, it was not a shameful defeat. They had to inform the 4 Saint Demon Kings that the early divine transformation realm cultivator they were afraid of, Ning Fan, was indeed someone to be wary of. This person had a large number of divine transformation realm spiritual puppets and a half-step void refinement realm refined corpse. This information was enough to atone for his crimes. However, the prerequisite was that he could escape. What orders do you have for me? Shi Bing looked at Ning Fan awkwardly. At this moment, he no longer had the arrogance he had when he first met Ning Fan. At that time, Ning Fan was at the nascent soul realm while Shi Bing was at the divine transformation realm. They were existences that could shake the entire external endless sea with just a stomp of their feet. However, now, be it in the hands of the enemies or his own people, Shi Bing was considered a weakling. He was not that powerful anymore. Could it be that he was called out to be sent to his death as cannon fodder? Shi Bing felt a chill in his heart. Indeed, if Ning Fan wanted to, he would just be a cannon fodder in a group battle of this level. I can't split myself for the time being. You have spiritual intelligence. This black dragon and the 10 spiritual puppets will all be under your control. I don't care how you control them. I only want one result. Leave nothing alive within 30,000 li. What? Shi Bing was dumbfounded. Ning Fan actually asked him to be the leader and lead all the refined corpse puppets with his insignificant strength? Did I hear it wrongly? Why does Ning Fan trust my abilities so much? Can't you do it? Ning Fan frowned. I can. Shi Bing was a little excited. Even in the Northern Heaven, in the Lost World Palace, he was only considered as an ordinary puppet in terms of strength. However, when he was created, his spiritual intelligence was higher than ordinary puppets, and his mind was not weak either. Hence, he was appointed as Bei Xiaoman's natal puppet to protect her. Before Bei Xiaoman left the Northern Heaven, he could only be under the control of other high-grade spiritual puppets in the war between realms. He had never thought of leading a group of spiritual puppets that were far stronger than him to fight a battle. Under normal circumstances, spiritual puppets could not advance to the next level. However, the Northern Heaven had a secret technique called Puppet Ascension Technique. It was specially developed to increase the strength of spiritual puppets. The main way to increase their strength was to devour souls. Puppets did not have souls. Thus, in order to advance, they must first devour and condense their souls to imitate a human. Only then would they be able to increase their strength. An early divine transformation realm stone warrior would need to devour at least 10 mid-divine transformation realm souls in order to advance. It was impossible for him to do it alone. However, with so many subordinates, devouring the souls of these 12 divine transformation realm cultivators was a piece of cake. This was an opportunity. Stone Warrior did not care about life or death. He did not care about strength. However, one day, he would return to Bei Xiaoman's side and protect her again. To achieve that, he needed strength. No one will survive within 30,000 li. Stone Warrior solemnly cupped his fists and stepped on the head of the black dragon. Then, he performed a secret technique. Immediately, the 10 black puppets and the black dragon became his arms and he could control them freely. Ning Fan did not know how to use such a profound puppet controlling technique. If he was the one controlling the spiritual puppets, their strength might not necessarily be higher than Stone Warriors. With Stone Warrior leading the way and the Black Dragon's strength, these shrimps and crab generals would not be able to escape. 12 rays of black light chased after them. Immediately, the vanguard army of the Southern Star Sea, which was initially full of vigor, suffered heavy losses. Miserable shrieks resounded in the sky. Under Stone Warrior's precise control, the Black Dragon continuously breathed out Black Dragon breath. The 30,000 soldiers were wiped out in just a few breaths. The 12 Divine Transformation Realm enemy generals were all killed except for Chu Feng. One after another, the demon souls were devoured by Stone Warrior. 3 of them were at the early Divine Transformation Realm and 8 of them were at the mid-Divine Transformation Realm. Chu Feng panted heavily. Looking at the group of puppets that surrounded him, he knew that he would not be able to survive. His eyes flashed with determination and he looked at Ning Fan. Eventually, his gaze fell on Shi Ran. I'm going to die, but I won't die in vain. Dying in the hands of a half-step void refinement realm expert isn't in vain. However, I can't die in vain. Since I can't kill you, I will kill your woman. Evil cold goo, appear. Chu Feng seemed to be holding something in his palm and crushed it. His action was too fast. No one could see what he crushed. Only Ning Fan could see that it was a dark purple silkworm-shaped goo that was an inch large. The moment the insect was crushed, a great sense of danger emerged in Shi Ran's heart. Before she could react, a dark purple insect stinger appeared 1 zhang away from her. It turned into a purple ray of light and went straight for her chest. Once it hits her chest, she would definitely die in her current condition. This woman can't defend herself now. If she is hit by the insect, she will die for sure. Even if she can resist it slightly, she will die in 3 days at most if she is hit by the insect. There's no cure for her. Ning Fan knew that Chu Feng was not lying because even he could not relax when facing this insect. Shi Ran's face was filled with despair. She could not move a single inch after using a secret technique, let alone defend herself. She was timid. She didn't know what to do. She felt helpless, she was afraid of death. She had never experienced such a deadly crisis before. What should I do? I can't escape. Just as her shoulders were trembling, a white-robed figure appeared in front of her in a flash. He did not have the time to activate his magical treasures. He only used his physical body to block the insect. I've said that I will protect you from harm. Ning Fan took a step forward and stood in front of Shi Ran. The purple stinger easily broke through the terrifying defense of his corpse devil body and pierced into his chest. It turned into a purple cold chi and ran amok in his body. Immediately, Ning Fan felt a pain in his chest and a sweet taste in his throat. He was about to cough out blood. But he forcefully swallowed the blood, and even crazily used the black fire to forcefully burn the parasite. Kill him. Ning Fan ordered in a gloomy tone. Impossible. Why didn't you die when your chest was hit by this insect? Chu Feng's eyes were filled with fear. If this insect was in his chest, even a peak spirit severing realm expert would die. Why didn't Ning Fan die? There was no answer. Stone Warrior controlled the Black Dragon and tore Chu Feng into pieces with his dragon claw. At this moment, Shi Ran looked at the trace of black blood that flowed down from the corner of Ning Fan's mouth. She was touched but she felt terrible. At the same time, Kun Mo and Yuan Fang, who were preparing for a great battle in the Southern Star Sea, the expressions of Kun Mo and Yuan Fang changed drastically. Chu Feng's life plate and the other 12 desolate generals' life plates were broken. The life plates of famous Gold Core Realm and Nascent Soul Realm demonic beasts were also broken. 100,000 life plates were broken in just half a day. Impossible. I've personally given Chu Feng the evil cold insect. Other than half-step void refinement realm experts, no one can kill him. It's even more impossible for the vanguard troops to be annihilated. Who did it? Could it be that early spirit-severing realm expert? Yuan Fang suddenly stood up and his expression changed. It's impossible. That person's speed is only slightly faster than his magical treasures. Other than that, he's useless. He doesn't have this kind of ability. Kuan Mo was unwilling to believe that Ning Fan had the ability to annihilate 100,000 vanguard troops. However, at the next moment, several flying swords transmitted information to him, causing him to lose his calm. 3 days later, the Southern Star Sea's Ghost Xiong Pass was massacred. 10 days later, the buried Dragon Sea City was destroyed. 17 days later, the Nanlao Kingdom was destroyed by a single palm strike. An Earth star with a murderous aura was about to charge toward the Southern Star Sea. All the information they had gathered was that the culprit was an early-stage soul formation cultivator. This person's target was obviously the Southern Star Sea's Leviathan Palace. There were no clues about this person's identity. The only thing they knew was that this person was at the early stage of cultivation and the words left on the corpses on the battlefield. The murderer was Luo Yun's Liu Bei. So that early divine transformation cultivator's name is Liu Bei. Big Brother and Second Brother aren't in the Southern Star Sea right now, but if this Liu Bei dares to enter my Kuan Mythic Palace, I'll definitely make him die without a burial place. Kuan Fiend was enraged and shattered the voice transmission flying sword. That Liu Bei was challenging his dignity. He didn't go to Star Island to kill him, but he came to the South Sea to cause trouble. Courting death. You're tuning into the Blissful Bookshelf YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.